Hello. Hey, everybody. Hey, chat. Hey, friends of friends who roll dice, who probably also roll dice. So you are also friends who roll dice, I assume. Welcome. Welcome to our playthrough of the new Chew RPG, available on Kickstarter now. It's going to be wild. It's going to be weird. If you've read the Chew comics, you know. If you haven't read the Chew comics, you're going to find out. We're really happy to have you here. I'm Silviana. I will be running this game. These are all of the wonderful players. I'll ask them to introduce themselves in a moment. But before I do that, I want to let you all know that since the Kickstarter is live right now, and it's only going to be live through November 4th, so we've just got a couple weeks. If you do exclamation point chew in chat, we have a link to the Kickstarter, and we were informed that if the Kickstarter raises $500 more during this stream, all of the players' characters will become real NPCs in the Chew RPG book, which is huge. And they made really cool characters. So I really want them to become real NPCs in the Chew book. So if you haven't yet pledged to the Chew Kickstarter, do it during this stream and, watch our game and then be inspired to play the game yourself, because it's a really good one. With that said, why don't we go around, and why don't you introduce yourself, say who you are, where you're from, whatever you want to say, and then just a little bit about the character that you are going to be playing in this game. Let's start with Chanzlyn.
Hey everybody, I am Chanzlyn. I use she, they pronouns. You can find me pretty much everywhere with the username Chanzlyn. I have a dog in the background, and I do a little bit of all kinds of content creation. My character tonight is Cassandra Errol, or you can call her Cass for short. And she is from the future. She is an FDA agent, and she has never experienced a fall festival because of a traumatic incident of a giant pumpkin exploding on her great-great-grandmother. And so she is back to try to correct that part of her family history.
Wow. Let's Asteyni, why don't you introduce yourself next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Asteyni. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet as Asteyni. I am primarily a Twitch content creator and also an artist. I am going to be playing Mac and Cheese, Agent Cheese, today. She is a federal agent and an inspector who is not a veteran, but definitely not a rookie. Here to just make sure the job gets done.
Awesome. Sin, why don't you introduce yourself next?
Hi, I'm Synxiec with the he and they pronoun. I am primarily a content creator here on Twitch, but I also like world building and writing for, surprisingly, tabletop games. And the other thing is that I am Lupo, who is the prodigy archetype. He is about one step from being a feral child. And the only reason that they probably have not banned him from being an agent is because when he bites things, he learns stuff.
Nice. Last but not least, Jroc.
Okay, I'm not muted anymore, finally. Hi, I'm Jroc, and my pronouns are he, him. And today I'm going to be playing Sid Aubergines, who is a lowlife who isn't exactly hired by the federal government, but is sort of like a hired hand, so to speak, to take on the dirtiest jobs. So where they don't have to be involved with it and they can keep their hands clean. And, he has massive debt that he has to pay off. No one knows who or what Sid actually is. And he just needs to make his money. So regardless of the job, regardless of how it has to get done, Sid steps in and gets it done.
Wow. Okay. Well, as you may have noticed, or if you're familiar with the Chew comics, this game is about food, specifically about food crimes and people with food powers solving food crimes. And it takes place in a world where there was, y'all remember the bird flu from like our teenage year, college years, or I don't know, I'm not going to assume how old you are, but do you remember the bird flu? The bird flu was a real thing. In the world of Chew, the bird flu was way worse than it was in real life. And as a result, all poultry was banned. So no more chickens, turkeys, no turkey at Thanksgiving dinner, no guinea hens, no ducks. I mean, they're ducks, but you can't eat them. All poultry was banned. And so there are now underground chicken smuggling rings. There are chicken speakeasies. And so the FDA has become the most powerful, basically the most powerful force in the world, but certainly the most powerful agency in the federal government. And they are tasked with solving all food-related crimes, which from reading the Chew comics, that seems to be most crimes, because a lot of people in this world have weird food-based powers, including most of our players. So, I mean, maybe we'll see those things. Maybe that will happen in the game. Who knows? Who can say? I can't say. I don't know. I'm just the GM. So that's the world. That's the world of the game. Chew comics are awesome. I've read them. I love them. You should read them, and maybe that'll also inspire you to play this role-playing game and back the Kickstarter. Just a suggestion. So this session is called Gourd Big or Gourd Home, which will prepare you for the number of puns that you will experience during the next 2.5 hours. If you don't like puns, you're lying to yourself. Stick around. You like puns by the end. Let's get into it. The four of you are called into the office of FDA Assistant Director Mike Appleby. He's your boss. And all you really need to know about him is that he hates you. It's nothing personal to you. He really hates everyone, but he's made it personal. And he really hates you specifically. And he says, assholes, I have a new job for you. Glad you finally made it into the office. Late.
I've been here the whole time. What do you mean?
Late.
Everything's late to you.
Someone is having a case of the Mondays.
It's Wednesday. What are you talking about? Anyway, I've got a job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, my job is being your boss. And if you want it to remain that way, then you can stop back talking. I'm sending you on a mission. It's extremely dangerous. You might not come back alive, which is totally fine with me, just so that you know. But
I'm ready for anything.
If you succeed, then I'll take all the credit. It'll make me look good. So I'd prefer that over you dying. But honestly, it's a win-win for me. Whatever happens, happens. It's about pumpkins. How do you feel about pumpkins? I don't care. I don't care how you feel. You're going on the mission anyway. There's a pumpkin terrorist on the loose. His name is David Pompoon, and he's been hitting up harvest festivals all over the Northeast. And he started in Maine, you know, because it's colder and the harvest there's earlier, and he made his way down, and he's been hitting up harvest festivals, and he's been carving up pumpkins, and then those pumpkins, they've been eating things.
I'm so familiar with this. I'm ready. This is what I came back for.
Amazing. So, okay. The FDA has reason to believe that the next harvest festival that this David Pompoon is hitting is going to be the Pleasantville, New York Harvest Festival upstate. You know where that is? No, because nobody in New York City knows where anything upstate is. Idiots. So we think that he's going to hit this place because, let me tell you, the Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival has not just pumpkin carving competitions, but a pumpkin growing competition. And they've been advertising for weeks about how they are going to have the world's largest pumpkin. It's over 3,000 pounds. And our analysts they don't think that David Pompoon can pass this up.
I know he won't.
Exactly. He won't be able to pass it up. He's going to be there, probably undercover. We don't know what he looks like. We don't know what cover he's going to take. All we know is that when he leaves a harvest festival, it's just destruction everywhere. Things are missing. People are missing.
People have trauma.
People have trauma, they get eaten by a pumpkin. It's a traumatic experience. You never really get over it, especially if you never leave the pumpkin. You're still in the pumpkin and it's been months. And, I
Does
assume.
anybody go home with pie?
Does anyone go home as pie?
As pie? No, he doesn't. No, Lupo, I need you to understand something. He doesn't turn people into pumpkins. He carves pumpkins and then they eat people and everything else. They eat everything.
They're very destructive. They caused a lot of problems, and in some places from where I'm from, like fall festivals have been somewhat disbanded altogether.
Sounds like we need to put a stop to this jackass.
Yes, that is what I like to hear. That is exactly what I like to hear.
That's why I'm your favorite, boss.
It absolutely is. He like takes out a sheet that has everybody's names and pictures, and it's like yes, that's why you are my favorite. Mac and cheese.
So when we heading out?
Well, the festival's today, so you better get going.
Consider this pumpkin problem squashed.
You're fired. No,
Never
okay,
hired me
you're
in the
hired.
first place.
Sid, you're on contract. You want to get paid? Stop making puns. This is a no pun zone. I will not accept any puns in my office.
You want
Sid,
the job done, you have to accept who I am.
Sid, you'll
Get
have
outta
to forgive
here.
him. We've been going through a bit of a rough patch around here.
What was that? I'm sorry.
That one
I'm
came
sorry.
out of left field.
Was that a pumpkin patch pun? Was that a joke?
It's okay, boss. Don't worry. We're gonna get Gording.
I'm gonna rip my hair out. Get out of here. Get on your Metro North train to your suburban town, whatever, upstate Westchester. I don't care. I never go there. Just get out of here to Pleasantville, New York. Go crack this case. I want this David Pompoon brought into my office by tomorrow morning, dead, alive, or turned into a pumpkin. I don't care which.
With or without a pumpkin of his own.
Preferably without, I don't know, whatever.
He
Let's just
turns
do
the
it.
pumpkins into weapons. I don't think we should arm him when we bring him in.
Just get the job done. Come on.
Okay.
Get out of here.
All
Get
right,
out of
all
here.
right, we're
I don't
going.
want to see you anymore.
Going.
Okay, I think we go.
Okay. You leave Mike Appleby's office and you make your way to Pleasantville, New York. You take the Metro North train. It's a scenic drive through fall foliage, not a drive, it's a train. It's a scenic trek. What would you mind as we paint the scene, describing what each of your characters look like?
Yeah. So Casserole is very much a stereotypical dressed FDA agent in just a tight button-up shirt with the sleeves rolled up, no tie, because ties are not actually good on the field. It's dangerous to have something loose and flying around like that. Simple slacks, hair tied back in a ponytail, and just ready to dive into anything.
Cool. Who's next?
I can go. Sid is a big hulking figure wearing a jacket that appears to be 2 sizes too small, and he keeps his face covered, and he's like constantly wearing a pair of shades. Keeps black gloves covering his hand as well. He pretty much keeps like all of his body covered so you can never see what his features are. And he keeps this weird looking hat on at all times as well, so you never ever actually see anything about Sid.
Amazing.
Lupo has dark hair with like a riot pink streak, and it looks like he like they just stepped out of a mosh pit or they're about to go to one. You're never sure which of those things is the case. And the most distinguishing feature they have is a pearl necklace that they wear, which seems completely out of place with everything else they have on. They're like about like 5'6" or so. So there's always that first thing of being like, are you sure like you're like not lost or something like that? Where are your parents? So they've developed a habit of biting unfriendly strangers.
So you, Lupo, you have like the schedule of events for the Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival, and there's no mosh pit planned, but there is a squash pit. So maybe that's something.
Sounds like a perfect place for Lupo to be.
Amazing. Last but not least.
So Mac, she's fat. She has blonde curly hair. She does wear a suit and tie, but she has a tie clip. So it's clipping that tie in place. It's not going to go flying anywhere. And she just looks like really done with everyone's shit like all the time.
Love a jaded FDA agent for sure.
Like she's not quite a veteran, but I would be dabbling in veteran if I had enough XP for it. Just put it that way.
Just after this session, then you can multi-class.
Yeah,
that's how this game works, right? It's not how this game works. This game uses it uses the Forged in the Dark system, which is D6 system that we're going to show off during this game tonight. Okay, so the train pulls in to the Pleasantville, New York station. You get off the train and immediately it's like everything is orange, fall colors. There are pumpkins. You see a lot of like baskets of apples, even just in the train station. People showing off their pumpkins, showing off their apples, and you see a lot of people dressed for Halloween. So you see people in like black long sleeve shirts that have like the skeleton bones on them. You see people in like witch hats. There are some like kids with their parents, and the kids are walking around with just white sheets over them with holes cut out. Think like classic like 80s and 90s Halloween costumes. And there are signs pointing towards the town square where this Harvest and Halloween Festival is happening. It just started.
This will be my first fall festival ever. This will be interesting.
Let's hope it's not your last.
That's what I'm here to hopefully prevent.
I hate kids.
Are you saying hi to the kids, Sid?
No, I'm growling at the kids.
Oh, some of the kids, there's seems like maybe a family or friends, but it's like 5 ghosts, and they're holding little pails that like look like jack-o'-lanterns, and they hold them out to you. and they say, trick or treat.
Does it look like we got candy?
Can you make candy
Not
with your
me.
mind?
So
My Uncle Joey can make candy with his mind.
Why don't you go to your Uncle Joey then?
He lives in California.
I really like kids, so I'm going to give them some of the snacks that I have because I always have some.
What snacks do you give these small children?
So all of them. Okay, so I like children, but I'm also chaotic. So I give them like slightly smaller versions of my caffeine bars. Oh, sorry, my energy bars.
Oh no. Is it obvious what they are?
No, they just come in like shiny, like gold foil. Like it looks like Werther's candy, except that it isn't. So the big bars that I normally have like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. So each of these has about 300 milligrams of these.
Look, you just gave me a gift. That's just a gift to your GM right there.
You're getting a Bang energy equivalent
They
of
just
a
gave these
caffeine
children
bar.
the energy equivalent of hand grenades.
So the kids say, "Thanks, mister," and then they run off.
Make sure
then
you
they run
eat
into
those
town.
first.
No, it looks delicious. I'm just gonna eat it. I don't read. Okay, bye. And they run into town. And you
Lupo,
can.
what did you do?
Give them candy.
That that wasn't candy.
They're not.
Well, to you maybe. You're right. Never mind.
Well, they're not. They're out of eye here, so that's all I care about.
I don't hate children. We're on a mission.
While everybody's talking, I'm quietly imagining them like literally flying into the sky on like rocket packs.
We'll get there. They haven't quite eaten them yet. They're gonna eat them at the most opportune moment. You walk into the town square and there's a big banner that says Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival, home of the world's best apples. And you see that even just lining the main street, which is called Main Street, you see that the trees lining the streets have apples on them. They are apple trees. As you pass the banner, you see food stands, you see carnival games, people running around. There's a lot going on at this festival. Like, think of anything that you would see at a harvest festival or a Halloween festival, like you name it, it's there. Like literally, please name it so that I don't have to come up with all of the things that are there. And there are tons of people walking around, a lot of kids in Halloween costumes, some adults in Halloween costumes, some adults in their just regular clothes. And so we're out of game for a second. You're on a mission. Your mission is to identify and locate David Pompoon, the pumpkin terrorist, ideally before he commits his pumpkin terrorism here. You don't know what he looks like. You don't know how he's been getting into these harvest festivals. You don't know what kind of conspiracies are going on. So the way this game works is that you have a progress clock for your mission, right? So like right now your mission is like identify and locate him. So the clock is going to have 6 sort of segments, and every time you take an action or succeed on an action that is facilitating solving this mission, it's going to advance. And then once it's advanced, you're going to sort of be able to crack the case, so to speak. There's also a danger clock. That clock's just for me. And every time, yeah, it's just a fun gift for me. Every
This is
time,
a mouse tool that we're going to use for later.
yeah, every time you mess up, every time you fail at something doesn't go your way, it's a consequence that I can impose on you. Just, tick that danger clock a little bit. And, if the danger clock goes all the way, gets filled up, who knows what David Pompoon is going to do? I mean, I don't know. It could be anything. In order to crack the case, generally in Chew, you want to know 3 things, right? You want to know the suspect. So you want to identify the suspect. You want to find their motive. And you want to find a 3rd thing that I'm blanking on right now. So I'm going to look it up. Their method. You want the suspect, their method, and their motive. And if you have at least one of those things, at any point, you can try to crack the case, and you'll make a roll to do that. You make a roll to crack the case. And the more of those things you have, the more dice you're going to get to roll, the higher your chance of succeeding. And if you do it correctly, well, you've cracked the case. May still have to deal with the consequences of actually catching this guy, but at least you know what's happening. And if you fail, I'm sure nothing terrible will happen to you. It's not like this game has like death or injury or, horrible consequences or, things like your great grandmother getting eaten by a pumpkin. Like that's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again. Sorry, Cass Errol.
How dare you bring my grandmother into this?
Sorry. So yeah. What's up?
Is there anything I can climb?
Is there anything you can climb? I mean, look, you're in the middle of a suburban Westchester town. Most of the buildings were built, they're pre-war. Most of the buildings were built around like 1900 to 1930. So think like a lot of Art Deco, like fancy molding, like carvings, engravings, like just, and you look at engravings and you think handholds, right? So immediately you could literally climb any building on Main Street. On top of that, we're also dealing with tents. We're dealing with carnival games. There's like that one where you take your mallet and you have to hit it really hard and it goes all the way up. Right? That's up. You could climb that.
Is there a Ferris wheel?
There isn't a Ferris wheel, but only because they didn't think they could fit it on Main Street. It was kind of, the organizers of the Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival had to make the decision like Ferris wheel or everything else. And they decided that they just couldn't go without the apple cider donuts.
That's fair. Apple cider donuts are good.
Okay.
You also, so all 4 of you have some troubles. Do you want to enlighten our chat and me as to what those troubles are?
Sure.
No.
Yeah. Do I have to talk about Coco Van? I don't want to talk about Coco Van. We're not on speaking terms. So my trouble is rivalry. I have a rival FDA agent. She's got it out for me. We worked on a case together. It went bad. She blames me for it. And now she's committed to getting me ousted from the FDA. So it's not going to come up. She's not going to be here. It's not
definitely not.
Problem.
There's no reason that she would be here at all. I mean, except that she lives in Pleasantville.
I mean, I'm sure she's out of town on a case or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, she's not going to be here.
She wouldn't be here at the Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival, the largest event of the year in Pleasantville, where most of the prominent people in the town are on the organizing committee for the event, and the chair of the organizing. No. She's definitely not going to be here.
Yeah, no.
What about the rest of you?
I always had family troubles, specifically revolving around fall in general, but especially fall festivals. My great grandmother, she will be at this very festival, and she had a traumatic incident with one of the pumpkins, and I believe it was, in fact, the largest pumpkin that is here that caused this personal trauma for her. And because of that, through our family line for multiple generations, even to me, we were not allowed to celebrate the fall festival. We weren't allowed to enjoy any of this stuff. And so I definitely don't have any personal traumas being around this stuff. Like, I'm definitely not going to be nervous or a little skittish or second guessing what any of these pumpkins may or may not do here. I've only heard stories, but I've heard the stories so many times growing up. And even before I came back to this time period, right before I left to say what it was I was doing, I was still told these stories. So I'll be fine, totally fine. I'm so ready for this. It's fine.
It's fine. There are barely any pumpkins even at this festival.
Really?
Maybe just like 3,000 or 4,000.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't hear about how hundreds of them exploded and how many people were eaten by them and how many things were just completely destroyed by the pumpkins and how it really devastated the area to the point that these kind of festivals were just disbanded altogether. Definitely did not hear any of that.
Look, that sounds like a future problem, right?
Maybe
Not like a now problem, right? Like, because this
Hopefully.
isn't the festival that caused it. It's not because you failed at this mission and that's why all these horrible
Definitely
things
not.
happened.
Definitely not this festival.
Just succeed.
Yeah, that's the whole key, is just we just have to succeed. No pressure.
Lupo, what's
Hi.
your trouble?
Mine is a vice.
What's your vice?
I mean, I don't know. I'm a person with, very healthy set of habits and anything like that. So I'm certainly not, on a mission and constantly snacking. And I certainly don't eat foods that make relatively moderate crunching noises.
What is it about these crunching noises that draws you in so much?
It's a very good combination of both sweets and textures.
So you just, for instance, if you were presented with, something like a biscuit, a crunchy, sugary apple cider biscuit, you wouldn't have any trouble, just going on your way and resisting it.
Like, as an example, right? I certainly might be distracted with the mission that we're on. There could be screaming children and or adults in the background. I don't know. But if someone were to offer me an apple turnover at an opportune time, it would just be an unfortunate distraction, possibly delay. Who knows?
Well, this is fine because, it's not like Pleasantville, New York is known for its apples.
It's certainly not like people are going to be making all kinds of pumpkin and or apple like based desserts. Certainly not right now at a harvest festival. Absolutely not a thing.
Sid Aubergine, what is your trouble?
Debt. I owe a lot of bad people a lot of money. I got in my previous life, I used to do a whole lot of bad things, a whole lot of heisting and things like that. Things went south one day. A lot of honey went missing, and it all got pinned on me. So I kind of had to keep my whole life and identity a secret as I moved here to New York, completely undetected. And my fear is one day that people will figure out where I am and who I am. So I just kind of try to keep things secret and try to make money wherever I can, with no intention of paying my debts off, just my money of surviving.
You walk down Main Street on a mission. Where is David Pompoon? How is he going to infiltrate this Harvest and Halloween festival? What other secrets are here under the tents, inside the jack-o'-lanterns, baked into the apple turnovers? There must be something going on. How are you going to find out what that is?
I have an idea, and I feel like my first instinct is to grab one of those apples from one of those apple barrels, take a big bite, and see if I get any psychic impressions from everyone else eating all those apples.
Here's a question that I have for everyone. How many of us have worked together before?
I assume we all have.
Okay. So no one's going to mind if I try to find the nearest building and see if it has stairs or anything. Because goodness knows, like feral child time is not as soon as we get here. It's several moments later.
I think we're all familiar with how you work, Lupo. When you're just
Absolutely.
gone, I don't think anyone bats an eyelash. Like, well, Lupo's doing Lupo shit.
Lupo does what Lupo does.
As you sort of make a beeline for something with stairs, a man who kind of almost looks like a carnival barker, who's standing next to like one of those ring toss machines, says, hey kid, come over here, look, I got a game. If you win, I'll give you an apple pie.
You know what? Why not? I have never had an apple pie. This might be the start.
He says, step right up. If you can throw this hoop and get it on one of those bottles, you win an apple pie. It's,
All right.
Pleasantville apples, famous.
I've heard stories, but I can't say that I've had it myself. So, all right, I just take one of these hoops and just throw it over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, throw it onto the bottle. You get it on the bottle, give you a pie.
This seems way too easy.
Hmm.
Just out of character. Cass has never played at any of these festivals before, doesn't understand any of the carny tricks or anything. So Cass is like, I got this. This is easy, no problem. So Cass is gonna go ahead and just take a hoop and just throw it, thinking it'll be fine. It's easy. I don't understand what the big deal is, and I get a whole pie.
Yeah. You throw the hoop, and it like lands right on one of these bottles, and it like spins around, and then it just spins right back up and off and falls on the side. Better luck next time.
That can't be possible.
I mean, I saw it happen. So did you. So did all of them. You saw it happen.
I look at everybody else. It's like, what? Did you see that?
Let me give it a shot.
Sure. Step right
up. With in fear of like actually trying to like not rip the sleeves of my jacket, I kind of like keep the hoop like stomach high as I like fling it from my stomach.
What is there any like ability that you're using, maybe like one of your approaches or one of your perks or your quirk to try to beat this game?
Instinct, I guess.
Do you have any instinct's one of your attributes. In this game, there are 4 attributes: charm, guts, instinct, and training. And every time you roll, you're going to roll one of those, but you also have some things that are specific to your character. You have some approaches, you have some sort of special moves that you can do, and you have a power. Are any of those going to help you try to succeed at this clearly rigged game?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely. Nope. I'm taking a look right now and nope, absolutely not.
Would you like some help? Would you like some help from your good friend, Agent Mac, who could talk circles around this jackass while you cheat?
I could
You can
try
refuse.
to, I could maybe try to present myself as a double crosser and tell him that I'm actually working here and that we need to give the illusion that this has to work for some people.
Ooh, that's a good approach.
Okay. Sure. And do you want Mac and Cheese to help you with this?
Oh, no, it's not necessary. Now that I realize that I could do that, I got this.
Okay. So you're going to make a charm roll. And this is a pretty low stakes roll. So I would say this is not a very risky roll. So if you fail, the consequences aren't going to be too bad. And it's also the position. Okay, so that's your position. So you're pretty much in control right now. But the effect level, it's going to have a limited effect, right? Because really what you're looking to try to get out of this is a pie.
Yep.
So why don't you make your roll? What's your charm?
I think my charm is 0.
Okay, so if you have a 0, so normally you, in this game, when you make an action roll, that's what this is, you roll dice equal to the number of points that you have in that attribute, 1, 2, up to 3. If you have 0 points in that attribute, what you do is you roll 2 dice, but you take the lowest result,
So, like,
which means that you can never have a critical success if you're rolling, on a 0, but you can still succeed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let me roll these 2. I got 2 5s.
Okay. So you got a 5. A 5 is a success with consequences. So tell me what you say to him. Tell me what you say to convince him.
I kind of like walk over to him and I like flash the inside of my jacket that has like a BS badge on the inside of it and tell him I'm working with the festival. We got to make this look believable for the people here. We can't have everybody failing. It's been going on for like an hour straight now where no one has won this and people are really starting to question this. So you just gotta let this one go. Trust me, we don't want our boss to get involved and this could get ugly. So.
Oh man, okay, I see what you mean. Okay. Let me just 1 second. Let me do a thing. And you see him walk over to where all of the bottles are.
Mm-hmm.
He takes his right hand and he just sort of touches a bunch of the bottles, like all in a group. He just like touches them all around. And when he pulls his hand back, like they look a little less shiny than they were before. And then he picks up the hoop and he gives it to you and he says, okay, you got to aim for those.
I just like look at him, like not nodding or not looking, just like the eyes like give a symbol of approval and acknowledgement, but not any like indication that he's actually saying anything to me.
Do you throw your...
Yeah, in the same manner, like because my sleeve, I don't want to rip my sleeves or anything like that. I just kind of like flick it outward from my chest. I've gotten used to doing that from having to operate like this over the years.
You flick it and it lands on one of the bottles in that group that he had touched, and it like goes onto the bottle and it kind of spins around and then it falls down to the ground. We've got a winner here, a winner. Wow, first one of the day, first of many, I'm sure. Come play this game. He says, thanks, man. I think the organizers were right. Look, here, why don't you just take this pie? I mean, I had a couple bites out of it, but here you go. And he hands you a mini apple pie. He says, this one's modeled after the famous apple pie that's over in the town hall. You know the one. Anyway, it's a replica. I mean, it's a real pie. It's a pie replica. It's a pie replica of the famous Pleasantville pie. Here, eat it. It's good.
I look over at Cass and ask her,
You won?
would you
What?
like a piece?
Oh my gosh, yes! I've never had one. It looks like there's some bites out of that. Is that normal?
So here is Lupo like looking around, like looking at the pie, drooling a little bit with these big anime eyes that look like they have galaxies just staring blankly at the apple pie that you've just acquired.
I look at Lupo and I look back at Cass. I look back at Lupo and look at Cass and says, okay, I'll cut you a piece right now.
So excited.
You do. You cut into this pie. You cut it into a bunch of pieces. He hands you some forks. And you can go to town on this pie.
I cut them really, really small pieces though, like not slivers, but enough to get a taste of it. But Sid's kind of greedy, so.
Listen,
Cass.
if you have given me even the slightest sliver of like this apple pie, I am going to be the happiest person on earth for exactly 10 seconds.
Cass like takes one bite and is just in tears and is overly emotional at how good it is and how much I've been missing my entire life. And so I'm just very emotional about it.
You try this pie, and Cass, you feel for a moment you feel a little shame. What would your great grandmother think?
She'd be so disappointed. I'm definitely going on a roller coaster of emotions because on one side I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. But my grandmother would be so disappointed. But it's so good. But my grandmother. And that's just going to be me throughout the rest of this walk once I finish it, that's kind of when I try to like focus back in, but I'm still just every bite I take. But it's so good. But
So while y'all are eating, can I question this game purveyor?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think like while Sid's cutting up the pie and Cass is sobbing, I just kind of like lean on the stand and I just kind of like pull open my jacket and flash my FDA badge.
Oh, I'm not doing anything illegal. It's supposed to be rigged. It's not illegal.
Easy there. I just want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay, it's my hands. It's my hands. I use one hand to oil the bottles, and then the other one takes the oil off.
I don't give a fuck about that.
You don't?
I want to know. You seen anyone suspicious walking in here who's not supposed to be here, not from around here, who isn't my friends over there?
Oh, he was like in the process of pointing towards Sid Aubergines. Like him.
Cass finishes up the pie and realizes that, oh yeah, we're on a mission. And so I like sneak up and I'm standing behind Mac and I'm just like nodding like, yeah.
Tears still down your cheeks though.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. It's still crying internally, but I'm just like, but we're on a mission. So it's an angry face, but like crying.
I don't know. I'm having trouble remembering. If only there were something.
I'm gonna grab this guy by his collar and just like shove him up against his stand and be like, oh, you're having trouble remembering, are you? Maybe little lefty over here can, shake a couple things loose.
I'd like you to make a guts roll to try to threaten this guy, to intimidate him into doing what you want.
Okay. Can I like I'm definitely being bold here, which is one of my approaches. Does that
Okay.
help me?
Well, if you would like to dig in and use one of your approaches, you can spend 2 of your appetite and you can roll an extra die.
Yeah, I'll dig in. Why not? No one's dug in yet. Okay. Also, I'm gonna use my fast talk because when I dig in addition to any other effect, I can either talk circles around someone and they become confused or compliant, or they let something slip, which I think is the one I want to do.
Amazing.
They can make something slip.
Great.
I'm a
So
very
roll
good
your
agent.
dice.
Okay. Watch me not roll well. Okay, that's a 3.
A 3 is your highest.
Yeah, I got a 2 and I got a 3.
Okay, mac and cheese.
Mhm.
You described yourself. You're a woman with, you said blonde curly hair.
Mhm.
You are like trying, holding him up, trying to threaten him, and he just looks down at you and is like, I don't have to tell you shit. So I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you anything. You want to know a suspicious person? It's your buddy over there. The one, I mean, he looks like he's a bear in a trench coat.
Okay.
That's suspicious.
Can Cass
So,
jump in and
Cut
also
back
try to
me
intimidate?
eating the pie.
Wait, hold on.
I guess.
Do I hear this person saying these
How far
things?
away are you?
I don't know how far the nearest building is. And mind you, Sid just gave me a slice of pie.
Yeah, so you can't be that far away. I imagine that you like jumped down and like maybe did a slide on one of the tents and like hopped down.
Okay. If I've done the climbing thing, before I do like the slide down thing, I would like to use like maybe our first ability of the game.
Tell me about it.
It's called the Mental Palace. Wait. No. Yep. Okay. Mental Palace. It's something I might have to wait for that one because I think I have to dig in to use that. And we're not ready to dig in yet. But when I do, I get to make a map of my surroundings. I just wanted to get an idea of what the layout of the park looks like so I can use that information for later.
I think that while you are sort of up on this building, you can definitely like get an idea of what it is. You see like a lot of food tents. There are a lot of like fall foods, a lot of like apple-based foods, because it seems that this place is famous for apples, but also like pumpkin stuff and other sort of just like regular foods, lunch foods and things like that. You see there's a section that's like a lot of carnival games. That's where everybody is now. And then you also see a section of the street that has like, there's one that has like tons of pumpkins set up, just like a lot of pumpkins in a row. And then you also see something that looks like a little track, but it's like very small, like a track and field track, but it's like a little mini one.
Okay.
You can see all of that before you jump down.
So when I slide down and I hear them like saying things about people, this is the moment I'm going to take the fact that I probably look like someone's very lost child to my advantage and just like see them arguing with things that I imagined I get there while they're just having words with my teammates and talking about how this person looks like a bear in a trench coat and stuff. And I'm guessing the general tone of it is kind of hostile. So yeah. I'm gonna walk up and I'm going to bite them.
I'm okay with this.
So, wow, do you even have to roll for that? I don't think that you do. They're distracted. I think you can just do it.
Okay.
Where do you bite them?
I'm assuming because we're in New York, people are talking and they're making hand gestures. So whatever arm is closest to me, I'm just gonna bite them on their forearm.
you take a big chomp out of this guy's forearm. He squeals, oh my goodness. And he's like bleeding a little bit. There's like a tiny trickle. And okay, tell us about your power. What happens when you bite people?
I don't think anything happens when I bite. Well, I know that things happen when I eat things, but not necessarily when I bite people, unless that counts.
Let me go to your character sheet, because I think that this does indeed. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
does it?
you are Sebo-voyant.
I am.
And that means that when you eat something, you receive psychic impressions from its future. Now, this is less relevant when eating something like an apple pie, because what is an apple pie's future? It's going to go through your esophagus into your stomach. You will then digest it. You will then poop it out, at which point it's no longer an apple pie. It doesn't have much of a future. But when you bite a living person and chew and swallow, you get a vision of their future. Do you want to know what his future is?
You know something? Let me get a pen and a piece of paper as a player and see what we can find out. Let's learn some stuff.
So you see this man.
Mm-hmm.
He reaches into his pocket and he takes out a stack of $20 bills, and he's like counting them out. He hands them to somebody else. And you get a vision. He looks down and you see this track that you saw, and there are dogs, but they're wearing Halloween costumes and they're running. And then you get another flash of this guy's future. And now he's the one who's running. And there's this, like, you can't hear, it's just a vision, but you can, like, his vision kind of shakes as if there's this like thump, thump, thump behind him. And then he starts to turn and your vision goes black.
He's counting a stack of $20 bills. Did I see either who he gives it to or who he got it from? I don't know which of those happened. No. Okay.
No, he got it from his pocket. He hands it to someone, but you don't see who he hands it to.
And then, like, shortly after that, like, moment is over, I go, no bully.
I don't know what to say. I was a small child, just bit a chunk out of my arm. I guess I'm gonna go to the hospital. I guess I'm gonna pack up this. I mean, should I go to the ER? I mean, should I go to urgent care? Can they even deal with this? There's a chunk missing. Do you see here? Do you see this part?
Does it look especially bad?
It's a little, I don't know, there's a piece missing. Have you ever like accidentally, cut off a chunk of your arm? No?
No, but I imagine that this is pretty bad. I just go, I look at him almost apologetically because I'm still upset at him for bothering for bothering basically friends, because it's either like friends or enemies in my universe, as it were. And I hand him a small nutrition bar. This is just like a normal bar without like a ton of caffeine.
Oh, thanks. Okay, I'm gonna go to the first aid tent. And he takes out a sign that says like back in 15 minutes. He puts it up next to his carnival game and he kind of walks off, opens the bar and chews on it.
Everybody sees me lick my teeth for a second, and then I go, where are the running dogs?
What do you mean running dogs?
So he had a whole bunch of money, and then there were running dogs, and then there was a really loud noise, and everybody was running. And I know that it came from, and I'm like looking around to approximate where I saw that small track that I spotted when I was sliding down. I think it came from over there.
Okay, sounds like a dog race.
That's what I was gonna say.
No,
I think we should.
not. Maybe maybe a dog race. The dogs had costumes though. They're not normal dogs. They had
Costume dog race. I mean, that sounds Harvest Festival-y.
I can't confirm or deny that. I'm familiar with dog racing, can't confirm with any Harvest Festival events. But I mean, it's worth looking at, I guess.
I mean, this was a wash, except for y'all got some pie, so I think we should go check it out.
Yeah, do we have any more pie, Sid?
You know what? He's got more pies back there, right?
Yeah, he's got more, and he's not here to stop us.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I mean, he's not here. I mean, snatch a
Sid
pie.
has zero problems going back there and grabbing pies.
Yeah, I get a pie for everyone. Everyone gets their own little mini pie.
I'm just gonna hold on to it, and I can't eat it. I'm just kind of sobbing about it, but it's fine.
Without taking my mask off, Sid just kind of like pulls the mask out and just like slides the pie underneath it, and then just eats the entire thing just like that. It just like kind of like goes into like a paper shredder. You like it just goes in slowly, and then by except nothing comes out.
No one hears
like never removing his face.
No one hears a single word from me until my pie is gone.
I'm also gonna save my pie for later.
Mac and cheese, as you're like packing away your pie for later, you look on the bottom of the tin and it says official replica of the Pleasantville, and it says like of capital T, the Pleasantville apple pie TM.
Have I seen anyone like have I only seen them at this stand, or have they been at multiple stands?
I think you've seen them in a couple places.
Then I'm gonna scratch that. I'm eating that pie because I'm subopanthropathic.
Oh, tell us what that means.
I receive psychic impressions from people who are eating the same meal as I am.
Okay. You eat this pie. You get a number of psychic impressions. The first one is of a small child who is eating this pie as they and their family are walking towards a bunch of tables that have pumpkins set up on them. And you can see, and like, as this child is walking there, you feel a sense of like excitement around the pumpkins that they're looking at, and maybe what they're going to do with the pumpkins. You get another psychic impression of a woman who is she's eating the pie and she is walking strolling along the street in the direction of City Hall. You get another psychic impression of another, you think it's another child who is just voraciously eating this pie, and as they do, they're just like chewing as loud as they can and just savoring the incredible sounds that this pie is making. And as you get the psychic impression, you feel the same way, like you've never thought about the way that chewing sounds before, but it sounds so good. And then the last psychic impression, it feels different from anything you've ever felt before. It's like you get like a vision of yourself and you're like standing in a river as like the water is rushing past you, but it feels like it doesn't even feel that wet. You kind of feel like protected, as if you feel like big and hulking, and you reach your claws down and you grab a salmon and then you stuff it into your face. And then you shake out of it because you're not eating salmon, you're eating apple pie.
Well, that was weird.
Anyway, where do you want to go next?
What?
Yeah, it's just For a second, I thought I was a bear or something. It was really weird.
Can't imagine what that's like.
I assume like since we've worked together, I'm familiar with that of your powers.
Sure. Yes, I would think
Okay.
so.
Oh, I wonder how Bear got a hold of the pie.
I mean, are we in bear country?
I didn't think there were bears around here, but I guess it's something to keep an eye out for just in
I
case.
guess so.
I thought we were in the polar opposite of bear country.
That's what I thought, but the bear's eating a pie.
I mean, did they bring a bear to the festival? Is there like a bear tent or something?
Oh, that's possible. I don't, like I said, I don't know anything about these festivals, and you could tell me that they bring bears here and I'd believe it.
Could be a metaphor. Aren't the Cubs in town today?
But did you get anything else from the
football
pie?
season and baseball season and almost basketball season, so just pick a sports team and it can be here.
I mean, I picked up a couple of kids. One was real excited about chewing. The other was real excited about pumpkins. I didn't think I don't think I got anything useful though.
Well, I'll just hold on to this pie and you can try again later if that'll help any. And I put my little mini pie away.
What do you think this guy eats? If I can just figure that out.
I don't, like, from the stories that I've heard, he gets very he blows up all these pumpkins and causes and turns these pumpkins into things that can eat people. So I imagine at the very minimum, he's not eating pumpkins. He sees clearly a benefit out of them. Maybe he has like a motive against fall.
Don't they have stations for things where you could like paint people? Or maybe there's a station where people are carving pumpkins, people who want to carve them while they're here, but don't want to do that at home because it's messy.
Yeah, let's go find one.
All right, let's check out a carving station.
Yeah, so you saw in your vision of like the kid who was walking towards this sort of line of pumpkins on tables, and Lupo, you also saw these pumpkins when you were up in one of the buildings, and then you slid down on the roof of
I feel like there was like this row of pumpkins on the track thing, right?
Yeah, well, it's separate. It was like sort of there was the track on one side, and then on the other side was a bunch of tables with a row of pumpkins on them. So you can approach there. And there are a couple people sort of who have just started to sit down at those stations. And they're a little like, those tiny little serrated knives that you use to like carve pumpkins. There are a bunch of those set out. And then these perfect uncarved pumpkins. And they just have like that little piece at the top, so that all of like the stuff is scooped out so that they're like totally ready to become whatever people want them to be.
Kind of like scoping the area to see who's carving pumpkins.
I did want to ask a question about the mechanics of the game.
Please
are
do.
Group actions a thing in this? Can we do things as a group?
I don't know if there's like a specific rule for that. I mean, you can help each other, right? And you can all help each other. But I think that the only real like group action that you would do is to try to crack the case.
Okay, just checking.
I would like to. I think I'm gonna actually try to do it. I'm gonna try to dig in here.
What do you want to do?
I want to use my mental palace ability and make a perfect mental map of my surroundings.
What? Okay. So you have a perk that lets you do that when you dig in, right? So you're essentially gathering information, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make a roll to gather information. That's one of the moves in the game.
Okay.
And
which attribute do I use for that?
So it's whatever attribute you think fits. I would recommend maybe either instinct or training.
Okay.
Because you're just trying to look, right? You want to like look around with your eyes.
Mhm. Okay. So like the idea is to make a map of what's here now and then keep an eye on it in case I see something out of place later. So let's have these instinct rolls. I have a 5 and a 4.
Okay, so that is a success with a consequence. So you look around your surroundings, and because you dug in and you spent 2 appetite to do this, you are able to get your sort of mental map. But I'm going to say that because you're doing this now while you're on the ground, and you are quite diminutive, and there are a lot of people milling around, you're not getting like the bird's eye view. You're getting like the child's eye view.
Okay.
But yeah, you can like lock this. Everything that you see here, you can lock this in your mind.
Could one of us resist that consequence for Lupo by putting Lupo on Sid? On
You
Sid's
absolutely
shoulders?
can. You can resist that consequence. You can do it, which anybody can do that. You don't have to only resist your own consequences. And in order to do that, you make a resistance roll. Okay. The resistance roll is, it may or may not cost you appetite, but you're not going to find out until after you make the roll. So if you want to put Lupo up on your shoulders, or you describe what you want to do, and we'll figure out what attribute that is, and then you'll roll it.
So I think I noticed Lupo looking around and taking stock of the place. I've seen Lupo do this before. And there's just so many people, and Lupo's so small that I'm just like, Lupo, come here. And I just like crouch down. Get up here. You can see more if you're on my shoulders. Come on.
I kind of look at her and I'm just like, I'm taller. Let me do it.
Well, then I'll be a stepping stone. Get up there.
Not me having one of my approaches being bite size.
You picked it. You picked that.
Well, here's the thing. I picked it because, puns and stuff. I had to make sure to get double the mileage here. So I'm small and I also bite people. Okay, so what do I need to roll for resistance?
So
or who is rolling for resistance?
Yeah, so I think Mac and Cheese is the one who's rolling for you.
Okay.
So this, what kind of roll do you think this is?
It feels like it's an instinct thing to me.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So roll your instinct.
Okay.
And then we'll see what you get.
I got a 6.
You got a 6. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That means, have you spent any appetite yet?
I have.
So, okay. When you roll to resist, you're trying to get a 6. For every number that you get below a 6, you have to spend that many appetite in order to make it succeed. So it costs appetite equal to 6 minus the highest die result. But because you got a 6, that is a critical result. Oh no, that's not.
I think if I got 2 6s.
If you got 2 6s, never mind. This is my first time jamming this game. Because you got a 6, 6 minus 6 is 0, so it doesn't cost you any appetite at all. You just do it for free.
Nice. So that means now you get the bird's eye view from
now.
Hey.
Yeah,
Sid's
you get the
shoulders.
bird's eye view, and you can get an eye of everything, right? So you see, you got the pumpkin table, you've got the track, and you're starting to see like it looks like little tiny dogs in costumes lining up on the track, and a bunch of people standing around, kind of huddled. You can also see sort of at the end, people starting to wheel out these big pumpkins. And then across the way, you also see City Hall, and there's a big banner that says Pleasantville City Hall, home of the Pleasantville Apple Pie TM.
They got really big. Hold on, sorry. And I climbed down from like Sid's shoulders and then go, they're rolling in really big pumpkins.
Right now.
Did you,
Mm-hmm.
did you see anyone take a particular interest in those pumpkins?
This is to the DM thing. At this moment, I don't think anybody has. Like, they have just arrived, right?
Yeah, they're just arriving. There are people like wheeling them out.
Nope, they just brought them. So, maybe we can find out if anybody new comes up over there before they carve anything.
Right? We know where the finish line is. Just time to find out who else is in the race.
So you're still, at this point, you're still sitting next to this like row of pumpkins on tables, and a bunch of people have sat down, and they've just now like sort of started to take up their knives, and there's like a man standing behind the table who's kind of explaining like, there's also a kid like holding one of the knives, and he's like, oh, just like hold it like this, and stick it into the pump, and he sort of like gives a little demonstration to all of the small children. He says, oh, and you just carve an eye and a mouth. Any questions? And the kids are like, no, I don't know. I think I can do it. Okay, great. And the pumpkin carving begins.
Since Cass is from the future and has heard stories about what's been going on, would
Oh,
Cass know of
praise.
any distinct like trademarks of how the specific pumpkins that were like attacking people looked, or if they were all like a uniform style or anything like that?
Yeah. So you would know that the pumpkins that were eating things primarily were jack-o'-lanterns, and they had mouths. But you would also, they were primarily jack-o'-lanterns and had mouths. And you would also know that some of them were like more intricately carved pumpkins, and there was kind of a variety. But that the ones that had the mouths did a better job of eating things. And you'd also know that the pumpkins could eat things that were bigger than them.
Okay.
They didn't just eat people, they ate everything.
Okay. So Cass is gonna kind of like walk around the table a couple of times, just watching people progress as they carve into their pumpkins to see if anything stands out to me as like, oh, that's really like well above and beyond what I've heard of jack-o'-lantern designs and what I've seen. But does any of them particularly stand out to me?
I'm going to say that there's one woman who is sitting there carving a pumpkin, and she like has brought her own tools, and she is like carving a scene into the side of the pumpkin.
Interesting. And as far as I know, the jack-o'-lanterns that did all the attacks and everything, they weren't scenes, they were all faces.
As far as you know.
Okay.
But you have imperfect information.
Right.
I would like to walk to so there's an end of this row of pumpkins that's pretty close to where the big pumpkins are, right?
Yep.
Okay. I want to walk to that end of the table, and then I would like to look around for a moment and see if anybody is paying any really close attention to what I happen to be doing at the moment.
To you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, everyone's very busy at this Harvest and Halloween festival. I don't know why anybody would be paying particularly close attention to just one child.
I would like to bite one of the pumpkins at the end of the table.
Oh,
interesting.
What does it look like when you just chomp into this pumpkin?
It looks like here's like the top of the pumpkin, and I just like pick it up and I look inside and I notice that there's nothing there. It's kind of like look to the left and to the right. And then it's just like the biggest bite possible. Like if someone were seeing me, they'd be like, I don't know if they just have a really big mouth or if they're literally trying to unhinge their jaw to bite this pumpkin before they bite the pumpkin.
You put as much of that pumpkin in your mouth as you possibly can. You take a big bite and chew and swallow, and you get a vision of this pumpkin's future. You see, you are huge and you are lumbering down Main Street. And in this vision, you unhinge your jaw. But when you do it, it's not like you just did to bite the pumpkin. It like truly opens like wide, wide, wide. And there is a barrel of apples next to you that's filled with water, and then a couple apples for like a bobbing for apples kind of game. And you like in this vision, you see that you open your mouth all the way and you swallow the entire barrel. And you feel there's almost a vindictive feeling against this barrel of apples. Like you want to destroy this barrel of apples. You hate this barrel of apples.
I pick up the pumpkin so as not to be awkward and just like carry it with me back to like the group and stuff.
Well, there was oh yeah, because I guess there was nobody carving that one at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was someone who was walking to that chair who was like about to sit down. It was like, oh, I'm gonna, and then you took the bite about it, like, oh no, I guess I'm not gonna carve that one.
I'm sorry, I didn't have tools.
Oh, okay. I think you did a good job anyway.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess I'll get another pumpkin.
Someone is at the front door.
Then I head back to Sid is the person that I run into. So Sid, I walk up to you and I kind of turn the pumpkin so he can see the giant bite mark. And then I go,
What the hell did you do?
I became a really big pumpkin and I got angry at a barrel of apples and I ate it. But at that end of the table. And I point all the way down to the far end of the table where the really big pumpkins are.
But wouldn't that pumpkin, the one he bit, be the one that transforms?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and you brought it over here? Maybe we put the pumpkin back over there? I don't know if by doing this, does this like change the future? I have no idea how your power works.
Oh, well, it's just the future for this particular pumpkin, I think, but it could be another pumpkin. And also, if I had left this pumpkin here, it would have ate the person who came up to carve it. Well, assuming that this pumpkin bites back.
All right.
I kind of like look at Sid and I just kind of get sad for a second thinking about that. And I go, I'm sorry.
No, you did the right thing. And I'm going to use my quirk here before anyone looks over. And I don't know how to pronounce this. Cenocelerant? Cenocelerant? Did I read that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can eat an incredible amount of food exceedingly fast. So I just want to like get rid of this pumpkin, like, because people are carving them and I don't want anyone to ask questions about this pumpkin. So I'm just basically disposing the evidence by eating it.
What does it look like when, I mean, this is like a, sizable pumpkin and you eat it really fast. What does that look like?
So because I don't take off my disguise ever, I just kind of like pull the mask out here and then like push the pumpkin up from underneath. And it just like very quickly disappears underneath the mask. And you just hear loud chomping and growling, and you can see the occasional pumpkin juices shooting out from the sides. Is
Sid
it's
Brazio
a 1
from
second
Soul Reaper?
of chaos. This happens all in a second.
I
I
hear
think
the
s-
bear for a second, and I'm standing next to Mac, and I'm like, oh yeah, it sounds like there might be a bear here.
I'm telling you,
I tighten the mask
these
back up.
these festivals.
Interesting, huh? I'm like kind of glancing around.
The woman who was like about to sit down there to carve the pumpkin before it was bitten and then eaten by two different people, is sort of like looking kind of dejected, and she's like, oh sir, can I get another one? And the man who's laying out all of the pumpkins sort of looks like, what? And he kind of looks at you and he sees like some of the pumpkin juice like dripping down from your trench coat. And he kind of looks at you. And then he just looks back and he grabs another pumpkin and walks it over to her and sets it in front of her and kind of looks at you again and kind of narrows his vision.
Can I dig in to my do I want to use double crosser or shady here?
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to convince him that I was here to inspect the pumpkins.
You want to
And
charm
that one was there was an issue with trying to carve that one since someone had like messed up with it, like they'd messed up their carving. So I just kind of like took the pumpkin and just got rid of it.
So you want to charm him into believing that you had to eat that pumpkin.
Yeah, that I work here and that I ate the pumpkin, so no one asked to carve the messed up pumpkin.
Make a charm roll.
Okay, here we go. I rolled a 5 and a 6. So
Okay,
we
so
take the
it's a
5,
full.
right?
No, you.
I have 0 charm.
Because you have zero charm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's not a full success. That's a success with consequences. You tell him this, and he kind of looks at you like, oh, okay. And you've did you want to use your dig in? If you use your dig in, then you would do that before you roll.
Do I have to re-roll again if I want to use my dig in?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to use it?
Yep.
Okay, so when you dig in, you spend 2 appetite and you get to add a d6 to your roll. Now, because your charm is 0, if you're adding a d6, instead of rolling 2 dice and taking the lower one, you'll just roll 1 die.
Pain. Okay. So just roll this one. I should have just left it how it was. I got a 2.
What'd you roll?
A
A 2. So just a total failure.
Yep.
Okay. Here's what happens. You're trying to tell him like, oh, I had to eat the pumpkin. And he looks at you and he's like, you work here? I'm in charge of these here pumpkins, and I never said anybody was going to come over here and eat the pumpkins. We only have so many. I don't think that's true. And he starts to raise his voice. And as the two of you are kind of arguing, you hear something from behind you. You hear a voice that sounds familiar. Sid Aubergine, you owe me money. Do you turn around?
Nope.
Hey, Sid. And this person comes up to you and they tap you on the shoulder and kind of try to like pull you around to look at them.
Oh, hey, buddy. How?
And it's someone just one of your many debt holders. They say, Sid Aubergine, You owe me money, but buddy, I know.
Wait,
I
above
know
game,
how you can pay me back. What?
above game. My name wouldn't actually be Sid Aubergine. That's just my alias.
What name would this person know you as?
Barry.
Barry. Buddy, I know how you are gonna pay me back today. And he points 2 thumbs behind him at the track where now you see all of these teeny tiny dogs in their cute little Halloween costumes who are running around the track. And this is where we are going to take a short break. We're just going to take a 10-minute break. And then we're going to come back and then we are going to resume this adventure. What will happen to our heroes? Will they get eaten by pumpkins? Will Sid get kidnapped by his debtors? Will Cass save her grandmother? Will Lupo get enough to eat? Will Mac and Cheese ever get the recognition that she deserves? We'll find out in 10 minutes. Welcome back, chat. When last we met our intrepid adventurers, investigators, they were hot on the trail of notorious pumpkin terrorist David Pompoon. Well, I mean, they haven't found him. They haven't figured out where he is or even really what his plan is, but they're here at the place where he must be. And they've found pumpkins, which is suspicious. And they've found apple pies, which may or may not be suspicious. They've talked to a few people, and some people have talked to them, specifically one person who has found Sid Aubergine, aka Barry. That was the name that you went by, right?
Mm-hmm.
AKA Barry. And this is a person you owe a debt to. And they've suggested a way that you can pay off that debt. They've said, hi, dear friends. Hello, Barry's friends. We got some betting going on over here. Just some, some casual dog racing. Totally above board, nothing illegal.
We don't
Just
have time for
dogs.
bets.
I think that Barry here has time.
Wait,
I think
who's
Barry here
Barry?
has
I
time.
think you're. I don't know who's
but
Who is
Barry.
Barry?
And I'm
buddy.
just like kind of like motioning them away and just like. Mhm.
Look.
How many people are talking to Sid at this moment?
It's just this one guy, and he's kind of like pointing at the place where the track is.
I kind of just like casually, while in the middle of all of this, I tried to catch the eye of Cass. And I just like tried to like almost imperceptibly be like, kind of, it's one of those things like you would, I think, like Kaz being the observer person they are would know I'm pointing at my canines.
Yep. Interesting.
This guy says, Barry's friends, look, I'm sure you would also enjoy the racing that we've gotten over here.
This dog racing?
This is the real Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
Do the dogs have costumes?
All the dogs are in costumes.
Well, let's go. What are we waiting for? And I just start like motioning on that way. We gotta go. This is something I don't know I've never seen this before. This will be fun. But really, I'm just like on a goal of we gotta get there now because if this is about to kick off per what Lupo has told us, I want to get there as soon as possible rather than when the race finishes.
He brings you over to this it's just a little track. There are a lot of people standing around. And he sort of nods to his associate who's like collecting bets from a bunch of people. And you can see on the track, you see all of these little dogs. They're so small. They're just little dogs. And they're all in these like big Halloween costumes. There's like the T-Rex dog. There's one that's like a sunflower that's got like the whole big flower. There's like a dog that is dressed like a crescent moon with a face on one side. These are like full body costumes. And all the dogs are just like standing kind of at like the beginning of the track. They haven't started running yet, but they're not like sitting. They're kind of standing on their back legs, and they've got like their front legs kind of like out like this.
I look at Kaz because I'm assuming that Sid is occupied at the moment. Go. Did anybody go get Mac?
Mac was next to me. So I assume Mac followed us.
Where is Mac?
You know what? I think it's more interesting if I'm not there.
And I looked
Mac's
around, I
not
was like,
there.
oh, I guess not. Should we should go find Mac, but also like, do any of these dogs look familiar to you? Do any of them seem like what you saw?
I think most of them look familiar to me.
So this might be it. So I don't know if we have time to go try to find Mac.
I'm gonna go find Mac.
All right, I'll be
wait.
here.
I have a plan, and I'm going to take out the one like super caffeinated 1,000 milligram coffee bar.
What are you gonna do with it?
And I'm going to eat it, and then I'm gonna take off in the like back in the direction that we came from. If anybody's paying any attention, I am in a way that people are just like, wait, how is this happening? I am running on all fours to go and get Mac.
You're on all fours, unlike these dogs, and you start running towards Mac. And we will get back to you in a moment. Now, this associate of yours, Sid, is like, hey, buddy, look, I'm gonna give you a chance to make all that money back, all the money you owe me. You just gotta bet on one of these dogs. You just gotta bet on one of these dogs, and if you win, debt's wiped. But if
Like
you
listening
lose,
in on the conversation.
if you lose, then you're gonna owe me even more. What do you think?
Sounds like a deal.
Okay. Which dog are you gonna bet on?
Give me a minute to think about it. Can I see who's actually running these races? Would I be able to determine who's doing that?
What person is in charge?
Yes, like who's been actually like raising these dogs for this race and who's in charge of this whole.
Yeah. Absolutely. Why don't you let's see. I feel like this is like you're gathering information, right?
Yeah.
Say, can I also help like gather information? Because I was listening on the conversation and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna help you. You've been such a great partner, and so I'll see what I can kind of help scope out with you.
That's perfect. So one of you is going to make a gather information roll, and the other one is going to lend a hand.
I will lend a hand.
Awesome.
Right. So what am I rolling that under?
So the person who's lending a hand, okay, yeah. So a gather information, you can kind of roll with any of your attributes. You sort of decide which one makes the most sense for the action that you're taking. Right now, what you're taking is you're trying to scope the place out. You're trying to get a feel for like who here is really in charge, because it's probably not the person taking the bets.
So I need to roll instinct then, because also I need to do this fast as well.
I think instinct makes a lot of sense. And you, Cass, you spend one appetite and pick one of the approaches that you have under your list of approaches on your character sheet and describe how you are using that to lend a hand to Sid's role.
Yeah, I'm going to use prepper. I'm ready for anything. And so having been in the field for as long as I have, I'm constantly always on the lookout for information and trying to scope out what's going on. So I'm kind of like eyeing all of the dogs as well and keeping I'm sure there's like a pamphlet nearby that kind of tells me a little bit about this race and who owns what dog.
Oh, there's a pamphlet that has like the odds for each one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of scope through that and lend that kind of information over to Sid.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay, so Sid, you are rolling instinct and you get a bonus D6 from Cass.
So I roll 3 then because I have 2 instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how much appetite does that cost me? Just 1 or 2?
It doesn't cost you, unless you're digging in, it doesn't cost you any appetite.
Okay, I won't dig in because 3 should be enough, right? Right?
I mean,
Right?
statistically,
Right?
it should be great. It would be highly unlikely for you to fail.
Got 2 1s and a 6.
That's a 6. You look around. You see a woman standing, sort of like off to the side a little bit, but she's clearly got her eye on the track. And you see one of the bookies come up to her and whisper in her ear.
Got him. And I have to take a specific approach to this person, or is that just...
So now you think you know that she's the one who's in charge.
Mhm.
And you also notice something else about her. She kind of looks like Cass.
I look at her, I'm looking at Cass, and I'm just like, can you give me a minute? I'll be right back.
Sure, I guess.
And I kind of just like ease over to this lady.
Can I help you?
So, you know, something tells me you're really the one in charge here.
Why would you think that?
So just call it a hunch.
Can I help you?
Listen here, I need to know who's gonna win this race.
No one knows in advance. Anything could happen. Anything could happen during the race.
Let me see what approach I can take here. I guess double crosser or shady.
What are you trying to get out of her, right? You chose to seek out the woman who's in charge of this dog race. What do you want to know from her? What do you want her to do? What's your objective here?
I want to convince her that her helping me figure out who's going to win this race is in the best interest of both of us.
What method are you gonna, how are you gonna
Bribery.
convince her that it's in? There you go. So you want to bribe her?
Yep.
Okay. Why don't you, that actually feels like a guts roll.
Okay.
So why don't you make a guts roll?
All right, I have 2 in guts, so I'll just roll these 2 dice here. 1 and a 4.
That's a partial success. How much are you trying to give her?
I don't care about walking away with any earnings. Clearly, I just want to get this other guy off my back. So, I'm gonna guess here and say that her normal cut that she normally gets from these type of side bets is about 25%, and I'm gonna offer 27.5%
of your winnings.
Yes.
But he already told you that if you win, it'll wipe out your debt.
I'm gonna use my own money. Can I use my own money here?
To bribe her? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can use any money to bribe her.
Yeah, I'm gonna use what I have to try to like cover this and like increase the bet as much as possible to try to like Even if
Do
it means I'm going to go into debt personally after this again.
So you want to make a deal with her to owe her more? Sorry, wait, okay. You have a couple options here to bribe
Yeah.
her. Normally a bribe would be like, literally, you're like, here's $100. Like, tell me how to rig the race.
Mhm.
Or you could try to make a deal with her that's more complicated of like, if you help me rig this race, I'll owe you in the future. That's a little harder because she doesn't know you. Or you
I
can try
guess
to
I'll
bribe
pay
her
her.
with
I
something
guess I'll
else.
pay her up front.
Okay.
I'll pay her up front. Yeah.
So you hand her a stack of cash. And what
Yeah.
do you say to her?
I say, I think I can make this entire ordeal worth your while, if you catch my drift.
You want to win.
Yeah. I need to win.
She takes the money, she puts it in her pocket. She says, I got some advice for you. These dogs, they really like corn. They get distracted by corn. If I were you, I'd bet on one of the dogs on the end. And then, you know, maybe the other ones will get distracted.
Corn, you say? Well, I'm all ears.
Please leave my presence. I never want to see you or speak to you ever again.
Without saying a word, I just walk off.
And Cass, what are you're standing there during this time? Well, what are you doing? What is your response to this?
Because Sid stepped away from me to have the conversation, so I didn't quite hear them, but I was looking over to see who Sid would go and talk to, and I noticed the woman looked pretty similar to me. And so I was like, I'm gonna try to like mess up my hair a little bit. Is there somebody that's nearby that has like sunglasses on their head or something like that?
Absolutely.
Can I try to like grab them?
Can I just give her an extra pair of my sunglasses as I'm walking by?
Perfect.
I
You can
have
also
to
do
keep
that.
extra disguises, so yeah.
I look at them and I was like, why do you have so many of these?
The best part was I took them off my face and had another pair underneath them. Just
Who are
ready.
you? So I I put them on and I like shake my head a little bit. I walk over and I'm just like, hey,
Can I help you?
yeah, I was just curious, like what's oh, I apologize. Let me introduce myself. I'm Cass. What's your name?
Susan.
Oh, that's a great name. A wonderful name.
Thank you.
Are you gonna be here all day?
Absolutely. Until the festival's over.
You is there anybody that can like cover your shift? I think you might want to go home. And I like flash my FDA badge.
She like immediately is like, ma'am, I don't know. We're not doing anything illegal here. It's all above board.
You're fine. We think something overall might happen here, and I just want you to be safe.
You want me to leave the festival, but there's money to be made here.
Yes, but it's for your safety. I'm sure there will be many other opportunities to make money later.
I want you to charm her. Try to convince her. Try to convince her to miss out on a lot of money and shut down this operation early.
Okay, so I have a 0 in charm, but I think I'll
dig
go
in.
ahead. Yeah, I was like, I think I'm gonna try to dig in and see. I think I'm gonna do Jawbreaker, and that's just I hit hard, and so I'm basically gonna try to go in and be like, you need to leave. I think it is for your best interest that you go. If you want to keep making money, I think it's probably best you get out of here. Like staying here, I don't think it's good for you. And honestly, I did hear a little bit about the businesses that you might be doing. And the last thing I want to do is get involved with that if you just leave. So I will
Roll your single die.
Oh no, it's a 2.
She says to you, is that a threat? And I think you're gonna take a condition. You failed. You're gonna take a condition. So this is a possible consequence of failure. There are a lot of different consequences that can happen. This is one of them. You take the condition manipulative, ruthless, impulsive, or cocky. And each of these will affect your ability to make a certain attribute roll. And there's an action that you can take to clear this condition. And if you take all 4 conditions and then you have to take a 5th one, real bad things are going to happen. So I feel like for this, it would either be impulsive or cocky, right?
Yeah, I was going to go with impulsive.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You just pissed off your grandma.
That wouldn't be the first time.
Is that a threat, Cass?
You know, I gave you a warning. I let you know what's going on. I'll let you figure out what you want to do. I'm going to go.
Yeah, if you want to shut this operation down, you better come back here with a warrant.
You know, I might. So I'm going to go look into that. And I just like immediately walk away before the conversation gets more heated. As much as Cass is all about like going into action, the last thing I want to do is fight with my grandmother again.
Fair. Let's shift
Especially
gears.
young grandma. She's
a boss bitch. I'm allowed to say that on this channel, right?
That means you literally went, see, I now understand where I get it from.
Yep. And I was like, and I know that she was significantly fiercer than I was, and I'm not like, I don't need to face that wrath. I already have as a child. I don't need to do it as like an adult, and she's younger. Like, no, I know better.
Let's shift gears. Lupo is chasing after Mac. Mac is somewhere. Where's Mac?
I think I was hanging back with the pumpkins. Because as everyone was going to the dog race, I'm like, that's not relevant. Have fun. And I feel like I was just hanging back and just kind of like scoping it out and vibe check and see if like I can see anything that's off or weird or anyone who sticks out to me. Trying to get the bead on this pumpkin terrorist.
You're scoping it out. You're vibe checking. And you absolutely see someone who's sticking out to you. You see a woman in a blazer, and she's got like a badge and a ribbon. And on the badge, it says Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival Organizer. And you immediately recognize this woman.
Of course I do.
Because you know who the Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival organizer is. It's Coco Van. She doesn't see you yet.
Okay, that's good. Turn my back on her, keep looking for pumpkin terrorists. Hope she doesn't see me.
You turn your back on her. So you're by the pumpkin carving tables, you know, around. You turn your back on her. So you turn sort of towards the, you know, away from the street, away from Main Street. And the guy who organizes the pumpkin carving is just sort of looking at you. He says, can I help you with something?
Pull up the badge.
Oh. Is there something I can do for you?
We're looking for a person of interest. We think he might be here at this festival.
Okay, do you have a description?
Unfortunately not. He's more known by reputation.
What's his reputation?
Pumpkin massacre.
He you see, he kind of is visibly like, that's kind of problematic. looks around, points to his pumpkins.
Me and my crew were here trying to track this person down. If you have any information about, I don't know, someone who's been taking an unlikely interest in your pumpkins, maybe? Someone who's carving things maybe they shouldn't.
I mean, I haven't seen anything weird. I mean, it's, a lot of people come up to carve. I mean, these pumpkins are 4 people to carve. So, I mean, other than that, it's kind of just me.
I have no idea how we're going to track this guy down.
I don't know. We haven't yet ticked anything on the progress clock. And
I mean,
the danger clock just moves with time.
I've been trying, but there's no information.
Lupo, you're following Mac.
Mm-hmm.
What are you up to?
Have I found Mac yet?
Sure. She's not very
Okay.
far.
So right around the time that she's talking to this person, it's looking like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, what's supposed to be happening, just tapping right around her elbow.
Oh, hey, Lupo.
Oh, right, sorry. And I kind of like stand up straight. Like when you notice that like Lupo's like on all fours, but doing this, like
Yeah, but I take it in stride. I've seen you do this before.
So it's kind of like okay. So there's a dog race, and someone said it was a bear, and now they're going to watch the dogs race. I came to get you because you weren't here. They're over there now, and we're here, and we should be over there.
Why should we be over there when it's pumpkins that's going to be the problem?
So I take a moment to reflect on some stuff, and then I go, okay. So when I kind of look around for a second to make sure that there aren't just like a whole bunch of people, and I'm assuming people are still milling about because it's a festival.
Yeah. Also, the one guy behind the table is like, you look around and he's like, hey.
I put my arm around your shoulder and I just kind of walk you away from the crowd.
Oh, I can
tell.
I can go if you want. I have to go check on the big prize winning pumpkins anyway.
Okay, have fun. Also, the pumpkins are very tasty.
Great. Goodbye. And he goes in the direction of like the enormous pumpkins.
Okay, so hear me out here. When I bit the pumpkin, it became a big pumpkin who had a really big mouth, but they were also very angry. Like they wanted revenge on weird things like bottles of apples, but never minding that. They wanted revenge, right? And over there, where the dogs are, I think they're gonna do a betting thing. And betting makes people angry.
I mean, we can go check it out. It's not like I got any leads here.
You
Okay, well, we
make
should
your
hurry. They're
way-
going to start soon.
You make your way to the track. Sid, you've gotten this information. You were told, she told you, recommends betting on one of the ones on the outside, and said that that they're easily distracted by corn, which may or may not make a lot of sense to you. What are you going to do about this?
I'm going to look at the track and how they're set up. And I guess can I look around to see if there's like any cornfields or any hazards that might pop up, that like anything that looks out of place on the track itself?
So the track is just a sort of loop, like an oval kind of loop. It's a little one for tiny dogs. There are no cornfields on the track, but if you wanted to acquire some corn, I'm sure that you can make that happen.
All right. Is there anywhere around that I could get corn?
Absolutely. There's a popcorn stand just down the way.
Will that work? I guess I don't really have a choice but to try to do this, right? I'm gonna go get some popcorn.
You walk up to the popcorn stand. Now, the person behind the stand is more than happy to sell you popcorn. Is that what you want? It's like one of those, you know, those big like popcorn machines, like the really big machine where they put in the kernels and then it pops it and like the whole thing fills with popcorn and then they scoop it into a bag.
Yeah. I don't want to pay for it. Can
You want to steal it's I mean, so you can try to steal popcorn out of the machine. It's big glass sort of container, so that's kind of tough. There are also like bags of corn kernels that they, you know, pour into the machine that are sort of around the machine.
I don't want to steal it either. I want to just convince them to give me a bag.
Okay, I'm gonna let you know this is gonna be very challenging to convince them to just give you free popcorn or unpopped corn kernels.
You know what? I'll just buy the popcorn.
Okay, you want to buy the already popped popcorn?
Yeah, I don't see dogs going after kernels, you know?
You can buy a bag of popcorn. You do that.
I buy the bag, and I joke with the vendor. I was like, it was a bit of a maze getting over here.
Oh ho ho! I love corn buns. I'm a popcorn seller. That's my favorite kind of joke.
All right, Captain. I'll see you later.
Goodbye.
And I kind of like slowly turned around, and I was expecting him to call me Colonel in exchange for Captain.
Goodbye, Colonel.
I went from disappointed to completely happy. And you could like see the smile underneath the mask just a little bit. And just walk away.
You make it back to the track as Mac and Lupo are also getting to the track. Cass is already there. Now all four of you are there, but you have a bag of popcorn.
So,
What's popping?
So we got any clues? We got any leads?
Outside, did you tell Cass about the pumpkin going after the barrel of apples, or did you just mention the pumpkin just being angry?
Oh, I mentioned the being like angry and very specifically vindictive at a barrel of apples.
Okay. So, Cass is just kind of trying to stand there, trying to think about like, what's our next move? What's going to happen? Potentially something at this track will happen. And she remembers she has the apple pie in her like little pouch thing that she carried with her. So she pulls it out to think about taking a bite from it while trying to think about her grandmother who's standing over there. And she looks down and she sees the little sign or the little message on the pie that's like, this is the replica of the Pleasantville apple pie. And so I'm thinking back to what Lupo said, and I was like, do you guys know anything about the Pleasantville apple pie? Like what is that about? Like why is there a apple pie that we have at town hall, or is one that all these little pies are replicated from? Like what about that apple pie is significant? It seems like it's everywhere.
It tastes good.
Do we know anything about that?
You would recall that the person running the ring toss game mentioned that these are replicas of the famous pie, which is held in City Hall.
I mean, it's in City Hall. It's famous for some godforsaken reason. We could go check it out.
Well,
So, hey, Kaz, I was telling Mac a thing, so I guess I'll tell you because it's important. The pumpkin, remember the big pumpkin when I became the pumpkin. It wasn't just an angry pumpkin. I was a vengeful pumpkin.
Oh, like you had a motive? Like you were after a very specific thing. It wasn't just a general anger.
I was vengeful about something, but I don't know what it was. I think whoever is making this because they want to get back at somebody for something. But, you know, do you think it's this? And I just gesture where like the races are happening, where the dog races are happening.
Final bets. Get your bets in. Final bets right now. The race is about to start.
Because you know what? When people lose bets, they get very angry. And I don't know if someone were here and I had the power to make things come alive and eat people when I lost games.
That's
The amount of
potential.
people I would have eaten after playing Tetris or League of Legends or Animal Crossing.
Wait, Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing?
Final bets. Final bets. Anybody else? Anybody else? No. No.
Tom no deserves
No.
to be eaten. Leave me alone.
Oh, we're closing. Bets are closing
Wait,
now.
I'm,
Go
I'm moseying over there to get my bet in to
You're
the dog.
moseying.
Not
You
moseying.
just
That's a
yelled
bad
final
word.
bets and you're moseying.
I kind of like just run over there as quickly as I can to get the last bet in, and I'm just like waving my hand in the air to try
Is Kaz looking at anything in particular?
I was going to say that Kaz is like looking around at all the different pumpkins and stuff. Did the giant pumpkins roll on by already, or
The giant pumpkins have been brought out to their like spot.
are they next to the track?
They're relatively close.
Do I see Kaz staring at the big pumpkins?
Are the pumpkins carved?
No, they do not appear to be carved.
Hey, Kaz.
Yeah.
When I became the big pumpkin,
Yeah.
it started off as a small pumpkin.
How small?
And I point to the tables like all over there in the far distance.
The ones with the big pumpkins?
But they're on the table because they're smaller.
The ones that were being carved.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Oh,
like they're
that
like
one
this.
that you. Oh. And you got really big, like you were towering over and stuff?
Well, not until I tried to eat something. It was like I was a normal sized pumpkin and then tried to eat something and I became like 5 times bigger. And
How far
The
am I
amount
from
of-
the carving station?
It's just across. It's just on the other side of the street.
Okay, I'm gonna run over there
Mhm.
and I'm gonna try to look at all the pumpkins that are carved. Do any of them seem familiar or intricately designed or anything like that?
There was one person there who was kind of intricately carving her pumpkin. Yes, but the rest of them were mostly made by kids. So it's a lot of like jack-o'-lantern, kind of like, you know, eyes and like mouth.
Mm-hmm. So do I still see, is she still there or is it just the intricate pumpkin?
She's still there. She's working on it.
Okay, and has she worked on multiple pumpkins or just the one so far?
Just the one.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and be impulsive
Mm-hmm.
and just go and grab that pumpkin and throw it on the ground.
You want to grab that pumpkin and stomp on it.
Squash, if you will.
Squash it. That sounds like you are inviting trouble.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. You do that. I don't think you need to roll to do this. You just do this. You just grab that pumpkin straight out of her hands. You squash it on the ground, and you clear your impulsive condition because you invited trouble, and she just looks at you. She turns and she just has this look of like, she spent all day carving this pumpkin, and you have completely destroyed her dreams. And tears are welling up in her eyes. And then she yells, "Officers! Officers! This woman took my pumpkin." What?
FDA.
What? Why would the FDA destroy my beautiful pumpkin?
It has nothing to do with your pumpkin being beautiful. It's just we are trying to control that there might be an issue with some of these pumpkins, and we just need to destroy them before they cause any further issues.
You're destroying all the pumpkins?
Specific ones.
Just mine?
No, not
What
just
do
yours.
you have against me?
We destroyed a few others that
Is
weren't
this,
yours.
or what is this? Is this something that, you have something against Coco Van? And because I'm her best friend, that's why you came after me and my pumpkin?
No, I didn't know you were
Because
best
I had the
friends with
best
them.
pumpkin. I was
Here,
making it for her. It was a
here.
gift for her.
I like give them the apple pie that I have.
Oh, I don't want this apple pie. I want my pumpkin back. You've ruined the whole festival. You've ruined my whole year. I have to wait for a whole year before there's another one and I can carve another pumpkin. This one was going to win a prize. How could you do this to me? And she's just like going, like, she's just losing it, you know?
Yep.
She's a woman of privilege and she's just not used to people just putting any damper on like her jam at all. She's yelling at you and it catches the attention of Coco Van, the person in charge of the festival, who starts to come over to you. Meanwhile, Sid, do you place a bet?
Yes, I do. I've placed a bet on the outside most dog furthest away from where the spectators are.
So the inside of the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one on the end on the inside of the track. Great.
Yeah.
The person says, okay, ready, on your marks, get set, go. And there's this loud noise that plays, but it's not like it's like a cock-a-doodle-doo, but like from a machine. And then when you hear the cock-a-doodle-doo, all of the dogs start to run forward, but they're still just on their back legs. And like their front legs are kind of flopped in front of them and they all start to run, but they're also kind of waddling, but they're going on the track. Like they're going forward, you know?
I'm just in shock at what I'm watching. I can't put two and two together at this moment, but I'm still worried about my money. So I just kind of like keep walking alongside of it, trying to get in position to throw this popcorn if I need to.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of, you know, running, and you're like they're kind of pretty evenly matched. Maybe some are a little further ahead. It doesn't seem like the one that you bet on is like way out ahead or anything. So if you want it to win, you're gonna have to take matters into your own hands.
I'm walking, and I'm making it seem like I'm cheering for the dogs. And I want to make it seem like I trip and I just kind of like drop my popcorn onto the side of the track.
Yeah. Can you make a roll? This sounds like a guts roll or training. Oh, are you like really good at this? Maybe this is a training roll.
And I think doesn't this be guts? Because there's people watching me do this. I have to have the audacity to really pull this off in front of people. So I'm going to dig in with guts.
Yeah, you are.
All right, here we go. That's 3 dice, right? Okay. 1, 5, a 2, and a 3. So the 5, right?
Okay, yeah. So you got a 5. So you're able to do this, but I think you're so because this is a success with a consequence, you like are able to sneakily like throw this popcorn and it lands all over the track. But I think in order to like sell it, and because you didn't get a full success, you're gonna like land like on yourself. And I'm gonna give you a choice. You can either take a condition for like kind of injuring yourself when you land, or part of your outfit can like tear.
I was gonna say, like, I felt like the condition would be my sunglasses breaking.
That's really good. Yeah. Your sunglasses break, and these were the last pair of sunglasses that you were wearing, and now your eyes are just visible. And they're a little, you know, it just kind of looks like maybe, is that brown eyeshadow around your eyes? Or like, it looks a little
furry.
A little furry. And then all of these dogs, like everywhere on the track where the popcorn landed, the dogs like see the popcorn and they just like lean down with their heads and they're trying to get at it. They're trying to like peck at the popcorn, but they're wearing these costumes that are basically covering their whole bodies. And so they can't get at it. But so they're all like distracted trying to get the popcorn, and they start kind of pecking at it and they start ripping through some of the costume, and you see their beaks. Meanwhile, the one that you bet on that was far away, it just keeps kind of going on its way. And then you see their beaks, and their beaks start to open, and then they start eating the popcorn. And then they're happy because they ate the popcorn, and you just hear a little "Baka."
I hear the baka. I realize my glasses are broken and I'm not paying any attention to it. I'm trying to get the hell out of there.
You want to book it out before anybody recognizes you.
Yeah.
Well, these dogs are creating a big distraction because people are starting to notice. Wait, what's those? Are those chickens? No, that's illegal. They can't be. Chickens are illegal. There's no way. And Susan Errol is sort of like trying to pack up as quickly as possible, like get all her things together. She's trying to like scoop up to like, okay, race is over. The race is over. All the bookies are trying to like run away with the money. And there's a big commotion. And in this big commotion, you can get away.
I'm getting away, but I'm making note of the fact that I'm seeing chickens, and I'm looking for
highly illegal chickens.
I'm looking for the rest of my team.
Cass is there with you, and Mac and Lupo are on the other side of the street, and Coco Van is about to approach them.
Oh, I'm over there too. Okay.
Or you're on the other. Mac, you were.
Lupo brought me back to the dog race.
Lupo brought you back. You're at the
I'm
dog
at the
race.
dog race because so we
Cass
can see
is
the
on the other
chicken
side of the
shenanigans. We can see the chicken shenanigans happening right now.
Oh yes, Mac, you see the chicken shenanigans, highly illegal chicken shenanigans. What do you do?
I think I need to arrest Cass's grandmother, Susan.
I need to do that. You see her, Mac, you see Susan packing up and like trying to get away with it. What are you gonna do?
Hold on, let me look at what my items are. I think I flash my badge at her and I say, FDA, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to explain this poultry situation we've got going on here.
I have no idea. Nothing to do with it. It wasn't me.
Hands behind your back, ma'am. I'm gonna arrest her.
Who do I
my payout?
Do I see people who look out of place trying to like get away from this area?
The bookies are trying to get away with everybody's money.
I suppose someone beyond the bookies. Basically, I'm looking for a person who would look, let me see, especially angry at this moment that this is happening.
Sid.
What
you
I'm
see
doing
Sid trying to get away.
What I'm doing technically is I spot Cass and I kind of like moonwalk over to Cass so Cass can't see my face. And I'm just like, can I have those other pair of shades back?
I'm still like standing there having this woman yell at me, and I'm just like, and I just throw them at you.
And throwing them at me and me having my back turned to the shades, I don't catch them, obviously. And I like stumble forward a bit more, I guess. And in stumbling, I like growl a bit and my mask becomes a little loosened.
Coco Van is approaching you, Cass. She says, I'm sorry, is there a problem? I'm on the clock. I have to go make the big announcement.
What big
And
announcement?
oh, well, you know, the largest pumpkin competition. We're doing a weigh-in. It's the big event.
Oh, well, when is that happening?
In just a couple minutes, but I need to deal with this. I'm sorry. My friend says that you've done something.
We can adjust this after you do what you got to do. It sounds like what you need to do is very important and you should go prepare for that.
Oh, well, I'll check back in with you later.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Excuse me. And she walks up to a big stage where there's a microphone and she says, hello, everyone. Please ignore whatever commotion is happening over there. I'm sure it's not as important as our biggest pumpkin competition. Now, I hear that this year we at the Pleasantville Harvest and Halloween Festival have the biggest, heaviest pumpkin ever recorded, coming in at over 3,000 pounds. We are going to do a weigh-in now. Everybody gather around, and then afterwards, the pumpkin will be brought into City Hall, where it will have a permanent resting place next to the Pleasantville Apple Pie TM. Please gather around, and people start to move, and people start to gather around, and as they do, you hear something behind you, some movement, and you can see off to the side where the biggest pumpkin is, and some people are like carting over the scale to weigh it on. And you see the guy who is in charge of the pumpkin carving, and he's kind of like, he looks like he's kind of polishing it. But there's like movement behind you where the pumpkin carving station was.
I'm still by that station, right? Okay. I'm gonna try to help sit up. Like, what was happening? Why are you here? Were you not
Don't
at
look
the
at me.
dog race? What do you mean?
At this point, I'm scrambling to just get my shades on, and I'm just like in a complete panic. And
I grab them before he gets them. I'm like, Sid, what are you doing?
and I'm just
something
like,
important is happening.
I'm like down on the floor, and I'm just like,
Sid, get up.
and I like rise slowly, and I turn over to Cass, and I looking at Cass with my furry eyes exposed.
Wow, you're very hairy. Is that hereditary? Sorry, that's not important right now. Here's your sunglasses. There's something going on. We'll talk about this later.
You hear a scream behind you as one of the children who was carving a pumpkin, they were carving the mouth of it, and now their whole hand is inside the pumpkin, and it appears that the pumpkin has clamped onto their hand. As you turn, and all of the pumpkins that are on these carving tables are growing, and their mouths are opening.
And I try to save the.
Sorry, there's just a kid screaming.
Sorry. Can I try to save the kid by trying to eat the pumpkin before it enlarges too much?
You absolutely can do that.
All right.
I'm gonna grab my standard issue sidearm and try to shoot at the pumpkins that are not near anybody yet.
All right. Since this is I have to roll for this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make a guts roll.
Okay. This 2 5s.
Okay, you do it. That's a success. You lunge for that pumpkin and you get it in your mouth right as it is about to consume this child. And as you do, as you leap for it, the seams of your jacket just tear. They just tear off. Exposing you absolutely, yeah, you're reaching for your sidearm as he does this. You watch the whole thing happen.
I leap over to the pumpkin, let out a huge bear growl. My seams ripping. My mask was already loose from all of this, so now my mask falls off, and I just devour the pumpkin in record time and scream, "This is why I can't stand kids."
I don't. Are you a bear?
No.
Are you just,
Yeah.
you are?
Yeah.
Wow, they really do have bears at this festival, huh?
I take out a piece of paper out of my pocket and I write my name down. And then I like kind of like I take my glove off to like scratch the letters apart so I can just like do this quickly. And then I rearrange the letters to show that Sid Aubergine is actually bear in disguise.
I honestly thought you were just a really hairy person. Huh.
You hear screams from the crowd as
Right,
all
we
of
gotta
these
go.
pumpkins, they grow, they become enormous, and they start running, lumbering down Main Street, opening their jack-o'-lantern jaws wide and swallowing anything in their path. They swallow whole tents. They swallow carnival games. People are screaming. People are running, trying to get out of the way of these huge pumpkins. And Coco Van is still standing on her stage. She's still holding the microphone. She is panicked. She doesn't know what to do. And then you turn and the enormous 3,000-pound pumpkin gets up and it turns around. And on the back side that you couldn't see, where the pumpkin carving master was polishing the pumpkin, you see that there is a face there. And it grows. It was already the size of a car. Now it's the size of a minivan. Now it's the size of a small building. Now it's the size of a large building. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I just tried to shoot at it.
You can shoot that pumpkin. It's a big target, but you shoot it with bullets. And as you do, like little bits of pumpkin guts fly out, but it does not stop. From where you are, it doesn't stop this pumpkin's advance. It is starting to walk down the street.
Can I spot this? Did I spot any of this?
It's impossible not to see this.
Can I see this person who was polishing the pumpkin?
Yeah, of course. It was the guy who was running the pumpkin carving station.
Okay. So, seeing the pumpkins and the carvings like running amok at this moment, can I run over to that person? Actually, you know something? We're just gonna keep this rolling. Can I run over to that person and tackle them?
You can certainly try. Make a guts roll.
Okay. Make a guts roll. If I do manage to successfully tackle them, as you might imagine, I'm going to do my feral thing and try to bite them. We're gonna see how this goes. Oh, you're going to love this.
Uh-oh.
So we have a 1.
You rolled a 1.
I did.
You run up to this man and you try to tackle him, and he sees you coming. And so as you do, he pulls out a pumpkin carving knife. And as you go to tackle him, he stabs you right in the abdomen. Now, in the mechanics of the rolls, you can roll to resist that, or you can just take the consequence, which will be 2 conditions.
So, okay. I don't see a question about, well, I know that this is I don't know if I could dig in for this because this is not a perk or ability thing.
I don't think that you can dig in for a resist. Oh, maybe you can. Can you dig in for a resistance roll?
I do not know.
I don't think so. I think you just,
Okay.
It's kind of
So
defeat the purpose.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will attempt a resistance roll.
Attempt to resist.
That is just like the single. That's just like the single one, right?
Yeah. So I think for this, in order to resist this, I think it would make sense for you to roll training, because that's
Training.
you being able to like quickly get out of the way of a sharp, pointy weapon pointed at you.
Okay. Let's hope that this works. Resistance. That resistance is a 2.
So you rolled a 2. You were going for a 6. So for this to be a
That's
success, that costs
4
you
appetite, right?
4 appetite. How much
Okay.
appetite do you have left?
I have 6 left.
You only start with 8.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you have 6 left? Oh no, you have 6 left and then it costs you 4. Okay. Yeah. So you spend 4 appetite. You are able to just move out of the way of this knife as he comes for you. You are now looking at each other. Mac, you see Coco Van on the stage holding her microphone. You see a bunch of very large pumpkins lumbering down Main Street, eating everything. And you see one large building-sized pumpkin that appears to be barreling straight for Coco Van, where she stands in front of City Hall. What do you do?
Oh gosh.
We have 15 minutes left in the game, just so that you guys know. Time to bring out the big actions.
I cannot stop this giant pumpkin, but I can save my frenemy.
Real quick, where is my grandmother? Or is she still with you, or?
I think so.
She's in handcuffs.
So do I see her?
Certainly.
Okay. If like I'm gonna run up to Mac and be like, Mac, can I take her?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And I just
thank you.
pass her off to you and I run after Coco.
She's like, what? What are you?
It's fine. We gotta go this way. We gotta go this way. And I'm gonna. No, it's fine. Come this way.
Familiar. Oh, okay.
And so I have a sweet ride waiting out in yonder. So that's where I'm gonna drag her to and put her in the back.
You put her in the back of the car. Mac.
Yeah. So I'm literally just gonna go up to Coco, grab her by the arm and say, we gotta get out of here.
Mac and cheese. I'm sure everything will be fine.
Have you seen the fucking building-sized pumpkin?
But we can't let it get in the way of the harvest and Halloween festival.
I slap her.
I mean, you as an
I slap her across the face. Get it together.
Ow!
Coco!
That hurt. How could you do that to me?
I ignore her and I just drag her. I just start dragging her.
As you do, this building-sized pumpkin is moving further and further forward, and it gets to City Hall. You've just dragged her off the stage. The building-sized pumpkin gets to City Hall. It opens its mouth wide as it is about to swallow City Hall whole.
Yeah,
As the smaller pumpkins just start chomping on everything. They even swallow some people whole.
I don't know how to stop this.
Can I try?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go take all the gear off and I'm gonna get ready to try to eat this giant pumpkin.
Do it.
I guess I gotta. Do I want to dig in? Yeah, I gotta dig in, right? I have to.
You
dig
should
in.
definitely dig in. This seems like Lupo. Where are you at this moment?
I'm right next to the origin point where everybody saw that big pumpkin take off from, because I'm facing off with weaponized person.
Right.
Who is
Okay, you're
responsible
busy.
for this?
You're busy. Okay. Bear in disguise.
I'm digging in.
Make a guts roll. Unless this is training.
Do you train for this?
Do you train for this? Think about all those autumns spent in the river with the salmon swimming upstream as you grab them, with your giant
Devour them.
claws.
I grew up in Chicago, so I guess this is guts. Like, I don't really have time to think about this, right?
Yeah. Make a guts roll.
Okay. Yikes. 2 1s and a 2.
That is an absolute failure. That is a complete failure. You open your mouth just as wide as you can. You jump on this pumpkin to try to eat it. This pumpkin is larger than City Hall. You leap onto it and you can get your claws into it, but you're now attached to this pumpkin as it lifts itself up on its pumpkin legs and its pumpkin feet into the air and brings its mouth down over the steeple of the clock tower in City Hall, and it consumes the entire thing. As you go for a ride. Yeah, what's up?
I was gonna say, can I try to resist this since that's a?
Oh, you can absolutely try to resist.
All right, I only have 2 appetite left, so I have to roll a 4, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. A 6.
You resist this. You are not going to take any conditions. You're still going for a ride with this giant pumpkin, but now you're the one in control. You've got your claws into the side of this giant pumpkin and you're riding it as it is consuming City Hall.
I'm just sitting there on the back of the pumpkin, I guess, just taking bites. And I'm like feeling fatigue because it's so much pumpkin and it keeps growing and it's so much more. It just becomes more and more pumpkin. But I guess I just like survival instinct kicks in where I realize like if this thing keeps growing, it's going to eat me too. And I guess I go for it.
Yeah. Okay. You're on this pumpkin and you know what to do. Lupo, you're facing off with the pumpkin carver.
Yep.
He's got a knife.
So there are 2 things I would like to do,
Mhm.
depending. The first thing is I would like to howl as loud as possible.
Free action.
Your free action.
Right? This mostly for the sake of the rest of my teammates to know where I am, because I imagine.
You have a code howl for sure.
Right? So the next thing I would like to do is I would like to use my method perk. Right? I'm going to see if I can if I can try to get into the mind of what they would do in this situation and try to outsmart them.
Yeah. Roll your, okay. So why don't you roll,
I get to roll
instinct. Oh yeah. You roll instinct.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. To profile this man. I love this.
Okay. I got a 3 and a 5.
Okay, great. This is amazing. You focus, you look into his eyes, and in his eyes, you see his soul, and you understand this man, David Pompoon. You understand what he wants. He's a pumpkin man. He loves pumpkins. Do you know what the pumpkin's biggest competitor is in autumn? Apples. Apples coming in, stealing the pumpkin's thunder. And they were going to take the world's largest pumpkin and they were going to put it on display next to a fucking apple pie. Are you kidding me? This pumpkin deserves so much more. Every pumpkin at every harvest festival in the world, mostly in North America, because pumpkins are native to North America, but in the world deserves way more. And they should never have to share their spotlight with common apples ever again. The Pleasantville apple pie, not anymore.
Or like apple pie.
More like apple pie is what you understand when you look into this man's soul.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can use any of this information.
So you howled,
mhm,
and
mhm.
Cass and Mac, you know what this howl means, right? You've heard this before. This is a code howl.
Yeah.
So you know that Lupo has found something.
Yep.
You've got your grandma into the back of the car.
Yep.
Mac, you've shepherded your frenemy off the stage, right? She's safe. It's time to get down to business.
Yep.
I think we run towards the howl, right?
Yeah, exactly. I told my grandmother to stay there. Not like she can go anywhere because the back seat always has the childproof locks on. And I run
And she's
towards
handcuffed.
where the howl's coming from.
Yeah. You run up and you see Lupo, right? With kind of like a glazed look in his eyes. And then you see this man who you recognize, the pumpkin carver, right? He was in charge of the pumpkin carving. And he's
Of course,
holding
it's the
a pumpkin carving
carver.
knife.
Like if you're running up to the scene, you'll notice two things. Like one, like Lupo's like looking at him, and there's like a low like growl that you have. The same thing as like when like your guard dog corners a mailman. And also that Lupo's eyes are purple.
Ooh. What are the three of you gonna do to stop this guy?
What is David doing?
He's brandishing a knife
Okay.
at Lupo. He tried to stab him once and he just barely failed.
I mean, if you're gonna ask me what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in for attack number 2 and try to bite him.
I
So,
think-
Lupo, you don't tell us any of this information you gleaned about how this guy is obsessed with pumpkins, do you?
No, it's just
Okay.
one of those, you just see me having cornered a single person. And I think you two, having been here, would know that the pumpkins started here and left, and this is the only person that hasn't been touched by them.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out how I can use my fast talk here. I want to confuse this guy, but go ahead.
He says, the time for talk is done.
Oh, I'm like, if I sense these two walking up, I'm gonna say he did it.
You'll never catch me, David Pompoon. The greatest pumpkin carver of all time. I will destroy all of the apples. I will destroy every harvest festival until pumpkins reign supreme.
So
Any questions?
I'm gonna let him monologue. And Cass is actually a black belt, and I get to choose martial art, and the martial art was going to be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, since that's what I'm most familiar with. And through that, there's various techniques to be able to disarm someone and have them drop and let go of weapons, but also I can grapple them. And so I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do that.
Roll your training.
That's amazing.
Is there, Mac, is there anything that you're like doing to help with this?
I don't see how I can, because I'm definitely not martial arts trained.
Distract them.
Yeah, if you want to like distract, if you want to use one of your attributes to try to distract him and like keep him monologuing.
I'm mouthy,
and you throw the pie at him?
I don't have a pie, otherwise I would.
Oh.
Yeah,
but
she ate
I am mouthy, so I could use my mouthy to just be like, oh yeah, what's so good about pumpkins? Tell me more about it, David.
Okay, amazing. Spend
3d6.
Spend an appetite to do that. Yeah, and then you give Cass another d6. That's perfect.
Ooh,
love that.
I got a 2, a 6, and a 6. I got 2 6s.
That's a critical success.
Yes.
Please describe to me what it looks like when you apprehend the notorious pumpkin terrorist.
Yeah, so while Mac is mouthing off and trying to distract, I'm sneaking around behind probably like hay bales that are around, and there's also like stacks of pumpkin and things like that. So I'm just like moving quickly, going behind everything. And I immediately jump in, and I'm able to grab David's arm and twist it in a direction that makes them drop the knife. And in that, am able to flip over and pull David down and put him into a grapple where his arm is trapped between my legs and my feet are like over his neck, so he can't move without potentially breaking his arm.
You do that, and now he is stuck on the ground, and he is not going anywhere. We cut to the bear in disguise. You are on this giant pumpkin as it continues its rampage down Main Street. You're riding this pumpkin and you are in control. You've got your claws into its flesh.
Can I like use the strength that I have now to try to like veer this pumpkin away? Is there a river nearby?
Of course there is, the Hudson River.
All right, I want to steer this pumpkin towards the river.
Uh-huh.
And I want to, just wash all this entire problem away.
I want you to make a roll. You can make any kind of roll you want.
I guess, I don't know, would this be, I'd have to dig in for training, right? Because I'd have to be like trained to.
You don't have to dig in, but digging in makes it'll be more likely to succeed if you dig in.
All right. I don't even know what I'd roll for this. Would I roll
guts to stay cool under pressure?
Yeah,
right,
it could be guts. It could be instinct to like use your instinct to go towards the river. It could be charm to control the pumpkin.
I guess it's instinct because I'm like feeling the wind of like like the rivers give off like a chill.
I think that's great.
Yeah. All right.
I love this.
I get 2 die to do this. 3 and a 4.
Okay, a 4 is a partial success. I'm gonna say this happens. You're going to steer the pumpkin into the river, but I want you to decide now. Do you either, in order to like steer it around, the other like towns and so that it doesn't do a lot of destruction, you will have to go with the pumpkin all the way into the river, and you will also go into the river with the pumpkin. Or if you want to point it in the direction of the river and then jump off, the consequence will be that it barrels through another town on the way, you can jump off and kind of roll it and it'll barrel through another town on the way into the river. And it's up to you which one of those things you want.
My objective was to catch the person doing this and save the pumpkin festival. They said nothing about that other town, so
you steer this enormous, now it's like the size of a town, this pumpkin towards the Hudson River. And you get it going just as fast as it can. And as it's running towards the river, Tarrytown is in the way, and you push it with your claws and it starts to roll forward, and you are able to leap off of the pumpkin onto the ground as this pumpkin rolls and rolls and rolls and starts barreling straight into the town of Tarrytown, crushing all of the buildings. It goes straight through the Sleepy Hollow Park. It wrecks everything as it rolls and rolls and rolls into the Hudson River with a giant splash.
I pull my mask up and turn around, completely forgetting that the rest of me is exposed.
The rest of you have apprehended David Pompoon. You are able to take him back to the FDA headquarters, where your boss, Mike Appleby, says, oh, hey, you did it. Good job, I guess. Don't be late for work tomorrow. Do you, Bear in Disguise, do you go back with them?
Yep.
No. Yeah?
I need to get my money.
Yeah, you do. So you all make it back. A job well done. Can we do final moments? Little epilogues, final moments. What did you do, Cass? What did you do with your grandma?
I got her out of the car, and I just, my idea is that she and I had a good conversation, and she ends up liking my name Cass and wants to kind of potentially pass it down in the family because I saved her life.
Absolutely.
I told her to be careful. Now she had an illegal chicken racing ring and she needs to watch herself.
She says, I appreciate you saying that, Cass. It's too fun. It's too good. I mean, and then we eat the chickens after. I'm not getting out of it. You can't make me get out of the business.
I can't make you do anything, but I'm just telling you, you got to be careful. Think about your family.
It's nice to have someone who cares about me, Cass. I'm gonna remember this forever. Mac, what about you?
I feel like we see a little scene between Mac and Coco where we think they're gonna make up, but then they just end up fighting about the whole pumpkin fiasco that just happened, and Coco blames Mac and Mac blames Coco.
The rivalry continues.
Yeah.
Lupo.
So there's a lot of crunching. There's a lot of whatever like reward money or pay we get for this is used to buy a couple of extra snacks, but also Sid has a note.
Mm-hmm.
The note says, it's okay. We don't mind. I think bears are cool. And it has like very like as best a rendition as Lupo could make of a bear and
I was there.
like paw prints. And then also whatever his best rendition is of a much smaller wolf next to this bear.
Sid, bear, you received this note.
I get the note and I'm just like, I don't know what this is supposed to mean.
And you walk off into the distance, blending in with the crowd.
Actually, what I wanted to do, because I'm such a low life and a slime ball, I wanted to try to convince somebody that I should get paid to hunt this bear down that destroyed this other town.
I mean, it's not hard to convince Mike Appleby of things, right? It's the FDA, tell him there's a crime and just tell him it's related to food. And of course, it's going to have to happen. So you can absolutely get him to hire you to hunt down the bear that destroyed Terrytown. And you're off on your next adventure.
Never to be
Did you say never to be seen again?
Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again. And that's where we'll end.
Yay.
Thanks, everybody. That was so much fun.
Oh, this was so fun.
Very fun.
I want to say a huge thank you to the cast. You were incredible. All of your characters were amazing. Big thank you to Mur, who produced this show from a technical perspective. Big thank you to Drac, who produced this show from a non-technical perspective. The two of you make an incredible team. It was wonderful to work with you. Huge thank you to the Friends Who Roll Dice channel for putting this together, for hosting this show. And then I also want to give a big thank you to the creators of the Chew RPG, which the Kickstarter is still live through November 4th. Check it out. If you thought that this was fun, if you want to play a game like this, if you want to play a game with other weird food-based powers, more secret chickens, definitely check out the Chew RPG, back the Kickstarter. It's an incredible game, and you're going to love playing it.
You get to run around and bite people for fun and learn things.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And
so
why don't y'all go around and tell us who you are and where on the internet we can find you. Let's start with Chanzlyn.
Hey, I'm Chanzlyn. I am found everywhere from Twitter to Twitch to anything that has a social media account, probably as Chanzlyn, Chanzlyn. I use she, they pronouns, and I do a little bit of everything with content creation, from tabletop RPGs to food and cooking streams to dice making to regular old video games. So yeah, I hope to see you all around.
Asteyni.
Hey everyone, I'm Asteyni. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Asteyni or basically anywhere at Asteyni. I'm a variety streamer and content creator there, also an artist, so you can check out my content there.
Sin.
Hi, you can find me here on Twitch as also Synxiec, or you can find me on Twitter talking about all the gaming stuff and tabletop stuff and things like this. Hey, y'all, go back to Kickstarter, go buy the game.
Do it. You
And-
won't regret it.
Jroc.
Hi, I'm Jroc the God, and that's JROCTHEGOD. And you can find me on Twitch and Twitter. Twitch playing games, usually no-handed, and on Twitter you can usually find me sharing cursed food content.
Skickles.
Awesome. And I'm Silviana. I've been your game master. I produce AMC Network's official Twitch channel, Fear HQ, twitch.tv/Fear HQ, which is a horror channel. We do all things horror. It's cool. You won't really see me on the channel. I produce it. I'm not on it. We have great hosts. They're professionals. But check it out if you like horror stuff and gory stuff like I do. And I also work for Hyper RPG, so you can occasionally find me on twitch.tv/Hyper RPG. Thanks, everybody. I think now, I think we're going to do a raid, and I think that Mur is going to come on and it's going to tell us what's going on.
Yes, thank you so much for playing and showing us this amazing game. I was cackling behind the mic the entire time. It was awesome. So what we're going to do, we are going to go raid Eva Serate's channel. Eva Serate is working with Play Cancer Away, and they've been raising money all month for Stand Up to Cancer. So right now they're playing D&D, so everyone go say hi, put some love in chat, and help us raise money for an amazing cause. This is their second to last game, and their last game is on Friday. So everyone, have a nice night, and we will see you soon. Bye!
Bye.